No, but listen to, did you hear the press conference of Seleke Kromah, the IG? He did say that this is a highly political case, did he not? So you don't take the partisans' word for it, you take the IG's word for it.
We elect on 85 irresponsible men that want to happen to the country. We elect on 85 irresponsible men to govern this country, not to be very irresponsible.
Please place your left hand on the Bible being held by your wife, and you will kindly raise your right hand, sir, and repeat after me. All standing, please. I, Joseph Newman Boyka Sr.,
no secret now that your friend and former boss will be a candidate in 2029. With all of that you experience, all of that you know, and everything that you see unfolding in the country now, will you support him? Will you be part of the process? Will you give him the support? Do you think he can be a better president?
So why you want to bring political men in it or not?
Oh, but you political you're political man, before you go out, very active.
I plead the fifth again.
Okay. When 2029 come and pass, then you finally leave. Mission is completed. Now, what the rules of engagement? When the war ended, the guy said, the captain, the commander said, mission complete. There wounded out first. All men on board.
So, this riot situation when it comes to country, because many times you notice that.
If Charles Taylor is the problem, he will be out of here in the twinkle of an eye. And I say, let well-meaning Liberians come home. If we respect this constitution, a government formed in Accra is a violation of Article 1 of the Constitution. Let them come home. Let that government be formed in Monrovia.
On the broadcast administration, we want to give the government of Liberia an ultimatum of 72 hours to provide a living ballot of the chairman of the Student Unification Party, or else there will be a catastrophic pneumonia in the Republic of Liberia. To arrest the chairman of the Student Unification Party, only because the government feel intimidated about the Vanguard Party advocacies.
The government got capital road, small, B road, all kinds of place. I think the reason Joseph Baka will not do much because the old man, the papa is suffering. The papa loves the country, but he can't make it. The criminal there around him, they sophisticated than him. They are sophisticated criminals, so they can't make it.
Okay, so welcome to the closing argument. We are coming to you live from Grand Bassa County, specifically the Care Africa Medical Foundation Health Center. And today we are here to have a tour of this facility. But first of all, let's talk to the administrator to throw light as it relates to the working of this facility. Hello and welcome to the closing argument.
Hello and welcome. I'm Raymond Arakasel. As you said, this is the Care Africa Medical Foundation Health Center. The health center was open to the public in May this year, 2025. And we started by providing free medical health services to the community, because the purpose of the health center actually, from the vision and idea of the founder, was to provide, health services to the unserved community. And being that she has lived in this community for some time, she decided to return and at least help people of Grand Bassa.
lab supervisor of Care Africa. And in this lab here, we do a lot of tests. This is our collection site. We have various departments in the lab. We have our collection site where when the patient comes in, they have the suit. We work on them, we collect the lab form from them, and then we collect their sample. And we take it to we have the centrifuge, which is on the other side there where we spin our sample and take it to this department here where this is our chemistry analyzer where we do our liver function, kidney function, lipid. And this is another analyzer here where we do the thyroid test to check for cancer. We do the PSA, the prostate cancers, and we do the sugar test also. And this is our ESR machine, our CBC, this is a complete blood count, where we do the entire body scanning. This is our fridge, our blood bank, where we place our blood for transfusion, and we have our reagents here for our chemistry machines. This is our laptop and our printer for our results, where the machines are put all the results, we do the printing of our results and give our results. And I can assure you with Care Africa, with this lab here is one of the best labs within Grand Bassa County, because in terms of structures and a lot of tests that we do in this place, I don't see any lab in this Grand Bassa. So with this lab, you can come and do all your body checkup, and your health problem can be solved with this facility and this lab, because we do all body tests, we do any test you think about, we do in this facility.
My name is Omarius Katie. We do inpatient here. There is an ER when you bring our emergency patient. We receive the patient here. When we get through receiving the patient, when the patient is stable, we get another department on our side, peace ward there, where we put the children, the other ward. We even get a recovery room on our side when the patient is more stable to be discharged. Then we get a female ward there too. The male ward also. So we do a lot of things here. And another important thing we do here, if you don't have the money, we don't prioritize the money. Patient first, the money last. Typical example with a student that just come in here right now as an emergency. She's lying in bed. Yeah, she came. The parents is not around. The institution just brought her, but we're carrying out the entire process. Money last. That is the motive of Care Africa.
My name is Venus Enima from the Salvation Army Bramwell booth in New Buchanan Block A. I was on campus writing my text. After writing my text, my friend sprayed in a class. I said, I smell the spray saying I feel off. First, the people look at me. They didn't ask me for money. They treat me well. And now I'm going through.
I
No, but listen to, did you hear the press conference of Seleke Kromah, the IG? He did say that this is a highly political case, did he not? So you don't take the partisans' word for it, you take the IG's word for it.
We elect on 85 irresponsible men what happened to our country. We elect on 85 irresponsible men to govern this country, not to be very irresponsible.
Please place your left hand on the Bible being held by your wife, and you will kindly raise your right hand, sir, and repeat after me. All standing, please. I, Joseph Newman Boyka Sr.,
No secret now that your friend and former boss will be a candidate in 2029. With all of that you experience, all of that you know, and everything that you see unfolding in the country now, will you support him? Will you be part of the process? Will you give him the support? Do you think he can be a better president?
So why you want to bring political Ben in it or not?
Oh, but political you're political man, before you go out, very active.
I plead the fifth again.
Okay.
When 2029 come and pass, then you finally leave. Mission is completed. Now, what the rules of engagement? When the war ended, the guy said, the captain, the commander said, mission complete. There wounded out first. All men on board.
So, this riot situation when it comes across it, because many times you notice that.
If Charles Taylor is the problem, he will be out of here in the twinkle of an eye. And I say, let well-meaning Liberians come home. If we respect this constitution, a government formed in Accra is a violation of Article 1 of the Constitution. Let them come home. Let that government be formed in Monrovia.
On the broadcast administration, we want to give the government of Liberia an ultimatum of 72 hours to provide a living ballot of the chairman of the Student Unification Party, or else there will be a catastrophic pneumonia in the Republic of Liberia. To arrest the chairman of the Student Unification Party, only because the government feel intimidated about the Vanguard Party advocacies.
The government got capital road, small, that road, B road, all kind of the place. I think the reason Joseph Baga will not do much because the old man, the papa is suffering. The papa loves the country, but he can't make it. The criminal there around him, they sophisticated than him. They are sophisticated criminals, so they can't make it.
Commit the communication and come back to plenary. In about what time we define road map.
Thank you. With the motion, Prophet, are you all ready to vote? Already. So that corrects the motion. We have a standing committee on that. So we'll send you to call the health committee, and maybe we can have other qualified members join the health committee. So get the petition committee brought the petition to us. So we read the petition now, we gave it to the requisite committee to handle it. So the committee clear the petition on her judicial.
Has a company constructed? Question. Medical health construct. The government will cost the company to construct it. In 10 years, has the company constructed, not renovated, not rent, has they constructed a medical facility in a production area for its employees?
So folks, welcome back. Welcome to this midweek edition of the Closing Argument Show. And my name is Myean V. Torgbean. I will be joined by Mr. Jerome Gayman and the others on the show tonight. But howbeit, let's welcome everyone. We are live on Truth FM in Monrovia, and we will be on Kia Radio also. And a month from now, we'll be on Kia Radio. So Mr. Jerome Gayman is facing some technical problem. So in a month from now, he will be on. But welcome. I'm seeing Madam Sarah Dopoh was also on here. So welcome. Let's invite others to come on. Please share the show as we await the others to come on. So from our end here in Liberia, 17 minutes past 9 o'clock. This is the regular time of the Closing Argument Show. Come on 9 o'clock up to the time the discussion come to an end. Sometimes you see our panelists, our guests, they will be on due to some of the discussions. They will be on up to 12, sometimes 1 o'clock, and then up to 2 o'clock. Based on the discussion, they will be on up to 2 o'clock, informing Liberian people, discussing some of these issues that are related to the Liberian people, and informing our lawmakers, our policy maker, informing them about some of these issues that they need to pay attention to, and also be able to develop our country, because this country is for everyone. This is Mama Liberia, and we all have to come together to support each other, no matter, like I said earlier, no matter your political affiliation, no matter your religious background, or no matter your status. We all as Liberians, we have a portion. There are so many things that we all need to come together to make an impact in our country. No matter your status. Okay, so Mr. Gayman will soon be on. He's working on it. So I'm receiving some text message from him. So in a month from now, Mr. Jerome Gayman will be on. So like I was saying, no matter your status, we all as Liberians, there is something within us that can be able to transform our country one way or the other. Whether you have the resources or not, whether you poor or rich, there's something within you that you will not know about, or probably maybe you are not coming out so that people can be able to help you in the process, or you are not showing yourself out so that you can be able to know what in you that you can be able to help your country with. But you just sit in the back and then just degrade yourself, sit in the back, and then take yourself to be nothing, take yourself to be that kind of a person who there's no contribution, there's no impact within our society. That, which of course is wrong. We as Liberians, we have one way of the other, we have a significant contribution within our country. There are some things you do one way or the other can be able to contribute to a country. That's why people say the media can promote your country, and the media can also be able to destroy your country, because if you follow some other countries' history, the media also help promote the country. The media also help destroy the country. That's why you see whenever people discuss coming together so that the media can be able to push the agenda of certain issue that country is about to be on the spotlight for, they always put the media first. They always call on the media. They always call on the citizens to be able to push the agenda of that issue that want to be on the spotlight. So we all as Liberians, we have the duty, we have the responsibility to be able to push our country one way or the other, to see how best we can make some impact within our country. But welcome, wherever you are watching us live from, if you are following us On the closing argument page, I would like to appreciate if you keep sharing, invite others to come on. My name is Myean Torgbean. We have the other folks. They will be joining us in subsequent time. But 22 minutes past 9 o'clock from our end. So let me see what I can bring on some trending national issues here. So we also saw on today the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joshua Boga, make some appointment, additional appointment in government. So people are concerned about this appointment, and then this is the same appointment that other Liberians were saying during the past regime, appointing people from one position to another, taking people from one position to another, and then after a certain time, you come over another appointment. It's not bad to appoint people or to remove people from their position to bring another group of people. But the issue is, if you're taking someone from their position and then that person is qualified for that position because of a few other reasons, like up to now, some Liberian senior citizens are still complaining about the MPhil boss, the former MPhil boss, that the Dopoh Christian. That position he occupies, all Liberians are saying he's qualified for that position. Then the interim leadership, who is there right now, he's 100% qualified for that position. But removing him from there and then putting another person, all because of some other issue within MPhil and that of the Ministry of Health. That's why prompted some other decision to be made by the President of the Republic of Liberia. And then coming up again, we also saw within the public space, the head of that's the Minister of Lands, Mines, and Energy, Jerome Pewee, was also taken from his position, and then another person occupied that position. So all Liberians are concerned about some key figure within government area, taking them from there, bringing in another person. It's not bad. It's not like they are not qualified. The new folks they are bringing in, they are not qualified. They are all qualified. But the issue is, if you give someone a position, if you give someone a job to do, I think it's necessary to give them a time, give them a space to do their job. Because if you take that person from there, let's take for instance, if you give that person a job to do, and then that person is not performing properly, or that person is in some form of corruption, I think that's the time you have to be able to take that person immediately. But now where you give the person a job to do within less than a year, remove the person from there and then put in another person without any reason, without any. Is the president, is the president right? Is a constitutional duty to be able to remove and appoint? So he have the right to do it. He have the power to do it. But we as Liberians, we have to look at it the other way, because if you're taking someone from there, you have to inform the Liberian people about why exactly we are removing this person, even though you are not obligated to give the Liberian people that immediate information. Is the Ministry of Information also have to give the Liberian people the information as it relates to the government cycle. But let me welcome Mr. Sylvester Pewee. He just joined. So I think maybe he's probably, if he's ready, I can bring him on so he can just make a point. So Mr. Pewee, welcome.
Thank you, Myean. I've been off the show for some time now. That was due to some a basic engagement. I got it traveling. But it's a very good time to be back on the show. I've listened to your just concluded monologue. Myean, the presidency is structured in the way and manner that I don't know what you're talking about if the president is made or appointed someone, but the president got the power in the aspect, the constitution of our country, to appoint his official government. and those officials of government are meant to perform different kind of a responsibility on behalf of the government via the instruction of the president or his supervision, if you will. So Article 56 of the Constitution spoke of the power the president got in terms of hiring and firing. So the president does not need a board approval to fire. He does not need a board approval to hire. The only time the approval will come is the issue about when they are up for confirmation. And then where the release of the president appointment will say they will have to meet the Liberian Senate where applicable. And that aspect is already emphatic. It is in pursuant of Article 54 of the Constitution of the Republic, where applicable. And so there's something appointment that is not even applicable. So they will just move and start their responsibility. Like the press secretary to the president, it's not applicable. Like there are other certain enterprises like the PRC, it's not applicable. The Freeport, it's not. So that the Constitution gives the legislature the power also to enact other laws, and in keeping with that, pursuant of Article 34 of the Constitution of our country, it is emphatically clear also that the president will appoint certain government officials that will enjoy tenure. There are tenure people. These are the people the president will always have to give justification why he have to remove them from office. Yes, but the president cannot give justification to me if.
I think his network is coming in broken. So he was trying to make some point on the issue I was just speaking about. So I think probably he will come on. His internet is kind of breaking through. So Mr. Pewee, are you there? Okay, so let me proceed. Maybe probably if he comes on, he will be able to conclude on what he was saying. So like I was saying before he came in, this issue about appointing and then firing, even though Mr. Pewee said it, it's not, the president is not obligated to give the Liberian people or to give anyone information on. I think Mr. Pewee, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing now.
Yeah, I'm not just again sometimes the internet issue, but I thought I should have.
Yeah, this is Liberia, so welcome.
I'm using actually the router. It's the orange router that I'm using. I don't know why I said that the internet is buffering and the rest of that. But yeah, as I was saying, so the president will give justification to fire those that you found, those that will basically be tenured, then you have to have justification for them being fired. But if you are just, for instance, the president was to appoint Minister of Foreign Affairs, or Minister of Justice, or Minister of Commerce, the president can move to fire me with no explanation. It is not. So, and the provision of our Constitution is very emphatic. It says that the way and pleasure. So we all would understand, you would know the rest of it, where pleasure is clearly defined. So if I went to bed, I don't like Myean, and I'm the president, I just hear that Myean, somebody came to me and said, Mr. President, but you saw how Myean was looking yesterday. Myean was shining, and man, just wearing the man wearing a Rolex watch and other things. And I can move to come and say the next day I just do a executive marshal release saying that Myean have been dismissed as this blah 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 official of government. So that's the problem about serving the government. You serve at the will and pleasure of the president. Yes, but again, there are a lot of things. I don't know. Before we can quickly give us some rundown. So I was there a few things today at the Capitol building. But if you can give some rundown as to what, because I listened to the news not too long ago. I'm driving home. Listening that there was some confirmation hearing, there were a lot of things unfolding, and the president did few appointments in certain areas. But if there was any other major news, if you can just put me on speed so that we use that as a conduit, as a means of keeping the program moving tonight. But where is Mr. Gayman?
So Mr. Gayman is facing some kind of internet problem, so I was helping in the back, and then later on I had to come on to start the show, and then maybe probably I will send you some of the headline if we start the discussion. Then I can be able to help him in the back to come on. He's facing some difficulty when as it relates to the internet and his device that he's using, but I think he's on now. But yeah, so you can just check your inbox. I know it's your USA number or your Liberia number you are using, and yeah. You hear me, Mr. Pewee? I think his network is kind of facing serious problem. Yeah.
I'm
So,
hearing you, Myean.
Yeah, I'm asking you which number is active, your WhatsApp number, which one the USA one or Liberia one?
You can send to the regular one. We can communicate on. I got internet on that. So I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so I send you the headline there. You can just check it out. Yeah. So
today, it was the issue about President Boubacar appointing people, new appointment, in particular for Carry, the National Bureau of Construction. Yeah, listen to the news. General and amazed the 1.2 billion budget proposal. Sylvester, and these are the news that I listened to from the Truth FM headline. And this is very serious, and I will definitely look into this very topical issue tonight. But I would love to actually start with the first one, which of course is the prerogative of the president to appoint his government official, and that point of the issue will have to be very clear. The president got a lot of responsibility in and moving on that. Myean, just take on just 1 second. I will be
Okay. So that's it. So on this issue about the president appointment, so we also been seeing in the media there are a lot of appointments that were made by the president, and then subsequently we saw some names were erased. For what reason, we don't know. But later on today, we saw one of the names that were erased, and then there were back and forth conversation with that name was the name as it relates to Hassan, who was a former representative. His name was also erased, and then later on today we saw Hassan Kezuru. We also saw him at the House of Senate from the NBA. He's the Director General from NBA, where former Lofa County Senator.
Is the NBC?
Yeah, the NBC, the National Bureau of
Construction. Yeah, and Henson Kezuru.
Yes.
Yeah, Henson Kezuru, and these are the appointments. But the Carry, but Henson Kezuru confirmation hearing today was very great. I thought Henson Kezuru as himself as a former lawmaker and the former lead consultant of.
So Mr. Pewee, to make that a little bit clear to Labrimbo, at certain point in time, we saw his name was erased, and then it was like we saw back and forth conversation from the newly appointed director. There was some back and forth where his name was erased, and then all Liberians were concerned. Why is it that after we saw within that space that his name was erased, and then today we saw him going for confirmation? So it was kind of somehow shocking to the Liberian people.
Yes, Henson Kezuru, I thought first he was appointed as the head of the Road Fund. Thereafter, something, that's politics again. A lot of people, probably the person that is currently there, had a lot of push in the system, and that the push against him taking over, and someone got appointed in the position. But he's a very competent person. He's been in the bureaucracy for some time. He's a former lawmaker. Immediately he won 6 years in the House of Representatives as representative of District Number 17, I think. But before then, he served as Controller General of the Republic of Liberia. He was the Controller General and Chief Accountant of the Republic. He also served in that area as assistant, also in certain capacity. He's also served as the lead consultant of the Public Account Committee Secretariat. So he's got some deep understanding of our state bureaucracy, particularly into the financial areas. So he'll be, as he said, he's going to put into place the monitoring evaluation council of the National Bureau of Construction and ensure that they will monitor and supervise the construction areas as to what they're doing and what they intend. They're going to observe the data and all those things. So I thought he was excellent today doing his confirmation presentation. He's one of those persons that you can count on in terms of understanding what he's going to. I believe the appointment was a good thing, and he further justified his inclusion by the President of the Republic today. So it's an extraordinary thing to see, and so that is part of the role. If you are appointed, giving those stakeholder responsibility by the President, you have to justify why you got appointed into the field. But and there's other critical area the President appointed today also. That is important. One of those areas is the Central Agricultural Research Institution. The Central Agricultural Research Institution carry that's an institution that is technically engaged in terms of how agricultural sector is functioning. They do some research, data analysis. They do a lot of deep research about different kind of a soil, different kind of a issue, rice, the kind of a rice that will be okay for the people. What will do this, what will do that. So that's the research center. It's very critical towards the wealth-creating sector of this country, which is, of course, the agricultural sector. I thought the fact that this budget is going to be highlighting a progressive aspect of the agricultural sector, so it's important you have critical minds appointed in the agricultural sector to ensure that the way for us being self-sufficient, particularly to food production, and engaging into other cash crop areas and other things, and to ensure that the country will get settled on creating opportunities for our people to move on is very critical also to those things. So I thought the appointment there is very critical also. There were appointment also at the Veteran Bureau. Now, one may say is the Veteran Bureau key towards this, of course, is towards security. The part of the arrest agenda is security is paramount also. So I thought if we have to take care of our veterans, yesterday I listened to former widows of deceased military soldiers, wife of deceased soldiers, if you will, complaining that they want to push to Dopoh Street. I thought we've been faced with this problem for a very protracted period of time, and this government should cease onto this matter and allow things to move on. But it's a critical area that I do support also, that the CSA said today, in the midst of having $1.2 billion budget, the first time in the history of this country. It is now that those that are taking small money as per the CSA own suggestion, there should be a salary increment. That I do support this, because most of our people, the civil servants in this country, remember mine, we have some of our folks that are even getting the salary of $100, $150. And this finance minister was saying the last time, no one's going to get less than $150. I don't know, but I'm still being told that folks are still getting on $100 US a month. That is supporting. That is pathetic. And if the fact that the CSA is suggesting that there should be salary increment in the midst of this is great. At what level are they contemplating doing this? While the structuring pay grade arrangement they're going to do, the CSA got her own benchmark set up by the CSA to ensure these things are followed through. If these things are followed through, you get the process going so that you have our folks that are making less than $100 or $100, for instance, you have to push them up. There's have to be an adjustment, pushing them up to ensure that they make some what we call affordable, something that will meet the little things of life making, paying their basic rent, paying their kids' school fees, find means of medication for their children, ensuring that the uncles to see the bread and butter problem of our country. These are difficult times the country finds. These tough times are very tough. I'm here at the rate, if you went to in the various communities and all the things, there's untold difficulties in the country. How can we remedy the situation? Is through government servicing the people through the budget, service-oriented budget. We will take some time now today to really look into. I'm trying to do some analysis of the budget myself. I will take some time, hopefully tonight, to run through them, and so we always see what is it. Is it budget people center? Is it going to be a poverty reduction instrument? Is this budget going to be a poverty reduction instrument by any means? Or are we, by chance, trying to push that? We're just trying to put to the near of the number in the budget, 1.2 billion, and we're still going to see nothing significantly changing in the life of the ordinary Liberian people. So it's one of the things we would have to be more or less very, very engaged with and do some public sector analysis vis-a-vis relative towards major policy prescriptions that are meant to implementing the budget that will help the people. What would the budget do for the people in Lofa County, for instance? What will it do for the people in Maryland County, in different south, in Kehleboe, in Grand Juliet County, in Grand Bassa County, and all those, and in Bon County, and the rest of that? We have to focus on that. And what is it going to do also for the ordinary people that are doing the heavy lifting in terms of protecting the sanity and the territorial land space of our country, the security sector? Why is it? How much are we trying to pump into it? A lot of money. But the constitution of everyone now is, oh, the lawmakers are carrying for $41 to $51 million. They haven't spoken directly in terms of the way the Ministry of Education budget have been elevated also. There's a lot of other sectors of the public works area also that's going to do something. So we have to ensure that this $1.2 billion budget, we have to go in line with doing a lot of things that will help the country move forward, right? That we have to have, we're going to serve as the shock absorber to ensure that you absorb most of those things and fix most of the country problem. There's a lot of problem the country is currently faced with, and how do we move to do that? The police officers that are always under the rain and the sun, some of them being paid 160, 140, 120, right? What are we doing to elevate the police officer to at least $300 a month moving forward? The military guard, the men and women, the gallant men and women in arms, these are well-regimented forces. What are we doing also to keep these guys busy projecting the flair of this country? They are protecting our territorial land space in terms of defending us. So we have to do a lot more. What are we doing about the teachers? I'm told it's part of the reason. Today I listened briefly to the head of the Liberia Statistic and Geo Information Services, Mr. Garguah. He did outline some of the shocking things that I witnessed today, and even Senator Darius DeLong asking a very important question that we all have to focus on now. That about this same thing about our life expectancy in this country. Life expectancy in this country is 58. And then we talked about, and Senator DeLong's concern was, if people would die before they get retired, what can we do some restructuring and have some reform? And that's critical towards our country moving forward. So a lot of things Myean going to happen, but we'll take some time to go into the budget. Hopefully tomorrow, the folks we are going to come to be in the budget, and also the MCC report is out. It would be unfair for me to come and jump into the MCC report now because I haven't gone through it in terms of reading it in its totality, if you will. Digesting it very well, so we need to do some analysis. But I do know that's a critical area the government feel in the area of rule of law, and that is very critical. It's good. The government did pass, but the numbers is not encouraging, and the government feel in the area of rule of law. So how can the government work on some of those areas that the government didn't get things running, and allow situation to move to, and see how best we can fix some of these things in moving the country forward? We all are currently praying that the country should receive this compact. With the government receive this almost $500 million support coming to the country in different sector support. My prayer, I will go to bed praying, wake up praying that the country should receive that, because my grandmother, great ancestors' home, or those areas where we are from and are part of the country, right, will receive some level of development if we're going to be in raw infrastructure or energy infrastructure, if you will. The country will going to benefit, and that will create service area for most of our people, right? In terms of the raw infrastructure, we have a lot of time in terms of flying or commuting back home during the rain. Now that the sun is here, and the climate change situation, the way it's not predictable, and the way it's structured in certain way, and the way we see things today, the rain is here. We're in November. We still having yesterday. There was a serious downpour of rain, and again, we may not understand these things as they unfold. So if we have those kind of infrastructure that are meant to be directed in certain area that will help all of our people collectively, no matter your political affiliation, it's important. That's one of the reasons why I'm saying. But the government will have to do more in hitting some of this in mind. So the report is out. I don't know if you saw that, but we're trying to do an analysis of it.
Yeah, so we also saw today Honorable Dixon Sibo of District Number 16 also made his own view on this. So I don't know whether if we can play that audio so we can be able to hear from him, from his own perspective on this budget issue. So I know we can also play this interview from Honorable Dixon Sibo. Mr. Pewee, can we play this?
Oh yes, absolutely. You can go ahead and play that interview. Let's
Okay.
hear what the Honorable CDC lawmaker is saying.
All right.
Good morning. It's good capturing you on my camera for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm on exclusive.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you again.
Good.
Straight to the point. Let me talk about this budget. First of all, you've been with me chairman of finance, right? And then how do you feel, first of all, that the budget is sent to $1.2 billion?
Well, as a country, we have always had this euphoria that we need to hit $1 billion. For the past, I don't know how many years, we've always worked towards that. And so, again, from the layman perspective, once you see a budget beyond $1 billion, everyone is excited. Normally, we say the devil is in the details.
Okay.
So we are excited from the surface, but we need to go more into the numbers to see is it really possible, and what are the numbers behind the numbers that will be taking us to $1 billion. And once we see those numbers, then we'll do the flip side. Now, how does it benefit the country more and the common people more?
1.2 billion, but then we're saying increasement in the Deputy Speaker budget, also the Speaker. I mean, most especially looking at the economy and the...
From my perspective, the first thing I want to do, I want to see what the numbers in terms of the revenue side are genuine. Now, when we find the revenue side and we can be able to cast in that we'll get 1.2 billion, then we'll go on the expenditure side to see.
But do you think it's possible?
Anything is possible.
Generate
anything is possible. Now, as a person with financial management background,
okay,
I'm not one of those who just look at the budget and say, no, it's not possible. It's possible. The devil is in the details. So when I get my copy of the budget and I start diving into the numbers in terms of the revenue side.
Oh, they haven't started to distribute?
No. So normally when the budget is presented, one copy is presented, one or two copies are presented.
Okay.
And then we expect that before the end of this week, each of us will have received our own copies. Now, when you receive your copy and begin to go into the details, then I can be able to justifiably say, look, we can do 1 billion. We can do 1.2 billion because these are the ones that I can verify very well. As it is now, that just the euphoria and the noise around 1.2 billion, that what everybody enjoying. With time, we will be able to go into the details of that. And so when we do that, then I can get on the expenditure side. Because I want to see if we have 1.2 billion, are we increasing recurrent expenditure? I don't want to see it increase. Because we can be talking about want to develop the country and we get up to 1.2 billion, and in that 1.2 billion, 900 million goes to recurrent expenditure
and three salaries.
I don't want to see that. I want to see how that 1.2 billion will translate more into energy, more into roads, more into capital expenditures in key areas like health and and education. That's the kind of thing I want to see.
Since after the fight, the speaker removed, are you on any committee?
Look,
are you contributing?
Look. I am one of normally they call us. I'm a key member in the legislature.
Okay.
I don't have to be on a committee to serve well. I am a resource person now in the legislature, and there is every committee that wants to do things that are critical and that have financial implication. There is no way they can operate without getting to me. And so I'm beyond the issue of committee. Of course, yes, the speaker will always want to make sure that I'm on some committees and working. And so I'm an open person, and I'm working for the betterment of Liberia as a whole.
Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
So that's it, Mr. Pewee. Just listen to the district 16 lawmaker there giving some point on this budget issue, like you were saying. Yeah, so Liberian people are concerned about this budget reaching 1 billion now, because if you saying the budget have increased to 1 billion, then Liberian people are concerned that whether their livelihoods or whatever their needs is going to be able to be resolved. Like if they want road, the government will be able to pave road for them. There's a need to be able to bring in more food for them. Where the marketeers nowadays, if you go to buy rice, you find rice about maybe $14, $15. So maybe probably if this budget can be able to help to bring the prices of rice down, or the rate, because the rate is still at 184, 180 in some other places. So there are so many things Liberians are concerned about, whether with this increase of the budget, whether there will be like free schools in the various health facility. There will be medication, wherein people who are not financially strong can be able to get some treatment free. So there are so many issues, Mr. Pewee. So maybe probably Liberian people won't open the line. They will be able to give their own view on this budget issue.
Absolutely, and the lawmaker said this. I think Dixon Sibo is an honorable man, and beyond that, he been one person that do understand the area very well. He worked in the financial sector before, former commissioner of custom. He worked with the Ministry of Finance, work as well as he served as the immediate past head of the Ways, Means and committee. That's a very critical committee in the House of Representatives, in both houses, if you will. So he do understand, and he said some critical thing. Recurrent is almost $900 million. So how is this? Has it out of $1.2 billion? Well, 1.211 billion as per the Ministry of Finance own description here, and $900 million of the $1.2 billion is going to be coming from our own domestic revenue base. Meaning these are money that we're going to raise from here, from the LRA to different means, from the Ministry of Transport, from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, from all of those areas contributing to it. Then we're also going to have, whenever that deal is done, the ArcelorMittal deal. And, you know, I'm one person that 205, then just getting into politics in this country, trying to reboot the country democracy after suffering from a devastating civil crisis into this country. One person that emphasized at the time that the coming of ArcelorMittal into this country was an extraordinary boost towards the country moving forward. And this company, time to time, always plays a strategic role into trying to help our country economy do the same. They did in 2005. They did move in. There were other folks that were coming, always want to criticize the company. But the company was the first ever company in this country that came. When they started importing crushed rock into this country, because we didn't have the kind of machine that would crush those rock and all the things. They did that for this country. And there's this thing we're getting, that out of the $1.2 billion, ArcelorMittal will, when the deal is done, will give an amount of $200 million. I think that's part of the reason why the budget is now moving strict to 1 point. Is it realistic? And I listened to Honorable Sibo say anything is possible. It's the mechanism deployed by the government in how they're going to approach this revenue collection issue that we're going to push up. But yeah, the first time they're going to be collecting $900 million. What strategy are we going to deploy to do this? And the Minister of Finance clearly lay out the approach and the plan as to how they're going to do that in real estate tax collection. They're going to do that in different things in terms of this coming from outside and all those things, and particularly those ministry agencies that I just named. Some of those institutions are revenue generating institutions. They will all contribute towards, so money will come from transport ministry, labor ministry, foreign ministry, the maritime authority, and all other sectors, that national fishery, and other things. So it is a very important thing, but it's going to be critical in reducing poverty, if you will. It's going to be a poverty reduction strategy. Are we poised to hit that target? Is it going towards now? I was looking into it. I didn't have the time to really come into it sufficiently today. But I was told today that, and going through some of the numbers, that the University of Liberia are going to have some increment out of things. So a lot of sectors going to get pushed out in terms of how we will engage this. So, but my point is that this $1.2 billion budget should be in a way and manner that will affect the poor sector, that will have to do things to take our people from poverty, that will also help to see if we can have the constant supply, the stable and constant supply of electricity. There should have to be stable. These are the kind of approach or approaches that we will have to deploy in moving this thing on. So I listen and I agree with what Representative Sibo is saying, but it's important that we also all come together. And he said he's critical to that. It's good that he's doing things for the sake of the Republic, that the Speaker understands his strength. The Speaker knows that he's a number guy also. So they all will contribute towards the country moving forward. But I believe that the news, first and foremost, that we have a $1.2 billion is a good news. The sad thing about it is if this money or the $900 million going to go to recurrent, what kind of a recurrent area are we going to focus on? Is it going to be areas that will benefit the country, or area that will? Is it how much of that going to? So I would hope the Minister of Finance will have to come back and have a press conference or just engage the media, and that will take some time. The Minister of Finance will have to do more job or deploy someone in the ministry that will have to be strategically engaged. Because the minister himself, in terms of the preparation, he was not very explanatory in terms of breaking down the budget. And so I miss sometimes some of our guys that said before during the Kamara days, you will see there was a time I went to witness Dr. James Colley trying to break the budget down. You understand, and you got a fair appreciation as to what is happening. So I think it's the government responsibility now to begin the process of saying to us, this amount of money is this and that and that and that. But I think for now, I will chair on the country having that amount for the first time in our history. But I will worry deeply if that amount is just going to go the way it just go in people's pocket or go in other service sector that would not have to benefit the bread and butter issue of our country. Mr. Nagbe, welcome to you. I've seeing you for almost 2 weeks now, almost a week and a half. But I'm told you look smart, you look energetic, and you look very, very much to the point. But good to see you again after almost a week and a half.
It's good to see you, man. I'm sure a lot of our listeners here, they missed you. We got a lot of questions about your whereabouts. At least I know that Tomalin and Peabody are in Liberia. I thought you were with them, but it's good to have you back.
You thought you were. Yeah, actually, I came to see my man from the forest. You know what the show last time when the ambassador said he was somewhere in the forest, right?
Yes.
He didn't have good signal. So
Onanoga, what's his name? Onanoga? What's his name?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
I see for it.
Okay.
Now, I'm actually back home in Liberia.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back home. It's a great time being back. I'm in Liberia currently, actually.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
safe travels there, and take it easy, but have fun. But yeah, it's good to be on the show today with you. Let me also say hi to our audience. Thanks for joining us, and please do share the show. Invite a friend. So I came on and you were talking about the education sector, and so right off the bat, I don't know how much is going to the University of Liberia, but I can tell you all of the education budget is supposed to go to the University of Liberia. 10.9% of the budget, which translates to I think about $132 million. All of that money is supposed to go to the university, but that is the money set aside for the entire education sector. So already, I think there's going to be lots of problems. I mean, we've seen the university right now. You have individuals coming together now to try and collect chairs for the students to sit at the University of Liberia. For Christ's sake, this is our premier institution of, our tertiary institution, but this is the state of affairs that we find ourselves. We're falling behind every best practice index benchmark. UNESCO wants every country in our region about 15 to 20% of our budget to go to education, but we're about 10%. So we're 15 to 20 to 5 to 10% below expectation. But knowing the problem that we've talked about, Sylvester, for so long, facing the university, I think that entire amount may not even be sufficient for what a university needs. What this institution needs to rise up and compete with Ghana or even Sierra Leone or even the Gambia, or any of our West African neighbors. So yeah, we'll continue to look in the budget and take it apart as we go ahead. But I just wanted to put that on the table. The actual amount is about 132,976,385. That's how much is in for the entire education sector. I mean, you're talking about the university, you're talking about the Ministry of Education, a very, very humongous ministry, because all of the primary schools, the secondary, you've seen the videos here from Roger, I believe that's his name, who has gone around the country and he's been bringing us, these tents, these that we call schools all around the country. So the sector is really badly in need of robust, budgetary support. But here we are. We have about 980 million of the 1.2 million going to recurring expenditure. So with the government is playing in 280 million, that's it. That's it.
And absolutely, and that's one of the reasons why I said we'll have to come and explain to the people, because if our budget is coming from 900 or 800 million to 1.2 billion dollars, there should be some reflection in the livelihood of the people in terms of critical infrastructure, critical areas, the educational sector, the rural infrastructure is very important. It's critical also. We're talking about the health areas. Today, the Director General of Legis was a hearing at the Capitol, but in the chambers of the Liberian Senate that I did witness. That saying that life expectancy, Mr. Nagbe, is 58 in the country, and folks are retiring at the age of 65. So many people are even dying before they get retired.
Yeah.
So they're dying before their retirement age. And then if this is the problem, what are we doing to put some money in critical areas that will help beating the life expectancy to take it up, right? At least to take it up from 58 to 65. And then eventually we'll start to do it. We're not very so it is important that we all can do that, and then that will help us absolutely to see that of things done. It is very important for us to do that. And I agree that the University of Liberia and the educational sector, these are the sectors that we have, because if you start pumping more money into the educational sector, what you're going to do for the country is you're going to start building the minds of the people, and then they start to think outside the box, and more things start to happen. So that I think we have to do. We cannot have a $1.2 billion and still be the same as we're having $500 million budget.
No, but I tell you what, and Johnny, welcome. I tell you who got increased: the legislature. They got over $10 million. They went from $41 million to $51 million. They got an increase. I can tell who also got an increase. Richard Kuhn, the regime speaker, he got $38,000 increment to his office. I can also tell you who got an increment. The security sector, NSA. They got. Johnny, you all right there?
Yeah, Mr. John, I think you can just mute yourself because there's a feedback from the back there.
So even though the
budget, that are critical. I haven't digested the budget into entirety, Mr. Nagbe, quickly.
Oh,
but there's other critical areas
the CMC has made it easier for you. Just go to my page and it's all there.
I wouldn't go the way CMC is analyzing the budget. Maybe probably the technician that analyzes the budget for CMC may not have the skills that I have to analyze the budget.
Right? Oh my God! Okay, brother.
I look at the numbers. So I want to do it myself. I don't want people to say,
brother, go ahead, do your own. Go ahead.
So yeah, I want to do my own. But you didn't mention a lot of areas that was increment. Also, you didn't talk about increment in the fire service area. They took me from $4 to $7 million. You didn't talk about the increment into other major sectors, major different sectors areas also. There are a lot of, even the agricultural sector that was increment. You didn't. I didn't hear you said that. I didn't hear you talk about the increment from the University of Liberia. I didn't hear you talk about increment from
the agriculture
the DEA also. So there's critical areas of it. Now, one thing I will state here, the lawmakers, the $10 million they're eyeing, there are critical areas also in the law. Do you know that chief of staff in offices of lawmakers, their staff are now being well taken care of? It's critical. And let me take you back to Article 3 says that we have 3 separate branches of government. Assistant ministers, when I serve as assistant minister in government, I receive a car from the government. And I receive a pay, before the pay of assistant, almost $4,000. Right? But, and then they came down that gross, but if they did it, change it, it came down to 3 something or so, but we take pay is almost 3,000, 2,008 or so. But chief of staff to lawmakers, some of them are taking $600, $700, $800. So some of this increment is meant towards getting them vehicles. And listen, when folks, professional people are working to, they should be paid. And I do agree, but the budget should reflect reducing poverty. And I agree to that. But there's critical. The DEA, for instance, the current DEA budget from $2, $3 million, it's gone to $7 million in this budget. Did you capture that? Did the CMC capture that?
No, I don't believe we did. But we did talk about the security sector. But yeah, you do have a point. And I'm not gonna I agree with you. There are some areas that got incremented. But let's come back to the agriculture sector because you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Right? The agriculture sector employs more than 60% of our workforce. What they get, 13-point-something million, which is less than 1% of the budget. Do we really want to highlight that as a critical increase in that sector? Exactly.
We should highlight that.
Exactly.
It's very critical.
Okay. But for us, if we're highlighting it, we're going to highlight it in the sense that it is infinitesimal. No, if we're going to highlight it, then we're going to talk about it. We'll see it as being very, very, very minute compared to what is possible, right? Talking about the lawmakers, the reason why, and you would tell me, Johnny would tell me, maybe mine, the reason why some of them are taking home $15,000 is because some of this support that you're talking about is built into their salary. Their own salary is not $15,000. There are lots of benefits, including benefit for the chief of staff, their cook, their driver. All of these people, when you put all of that together, that's why it amounts to the $15,000. So there's benefit built in there for the chief of staff. They want to take that home, and then they want us to create a whole brand new budget line for the chief of staff in their office. What are they crying wolf for? The people are already in there. They should be giving them what is in the budget for them. But I'll pass it back to Junior. I agree. Some areas that receive increase, but here's another problem we'll talk about later. When you increase these sectors, allotments like fire service, you're increasing these allotments based on a one-time injection of $200 million from ArcelorMittal. That money is not going to be there next year. How do you cover for those kinds of increments? Are you going to bring that back down, or
that's the critical point? Before Johnny can come in, that's a very critical point. So now, what is the government going to do moving forward? It's going to be a strategic engagement here to ensure that we will have to keep these things, because you can go get Johnny $10 today, and tomorrow Johnny, and tomorrow I get it. It will be a problem. So that's a critical point. But Johnny, welcome to the show, and it was good seeing you this evening. Let me say welcome to you again.
Yeah, so thank you, Pewee, and thank you, Myean, for getting the show started. And let me say thanks to Brother Nagbe for coming on. And let me appreciate our viewers and listeners. They are so precious to this platform, because it is because of them we have to be on this show. So, but let me just jump into what you guys were discussing regarding the budget. I'm not a financial expert. From a social perspective, this budget should be about the people, for the people, and it should be inclusive of the people's desire. So if we have a budget now that has arrived at $1.2 billion US, I am interested in seeing this budget more towards services that will benefit Liberian people, in the sense that Liberian people go to hospital and have proper medical, attention and treatment. Liberian people will pay less to attain medical treatment at any medical facility in the country. Liberian young children will go to school, will go to any school. Parents will not have an issue to worry about school fees and the rest of it. We have energy system that will be affordable and regular. We will have road network that will reduce the wear and tear on vehicles and also provide access for the people in this country. So, on this basis, I would like to disagree firstly with Brother Pewee on grounds that the reason why the legislative branch has increment and about legislative branch increment, I personally would think that there should not have been any increment on the legislative side to increase services more to those sectors that will benefit the Liberian people. Because like I said, the budget should be about the people, for the people, not about those few that serve in public offices and the people, the people who elect them into offices do not benefit from the government budget. So I think that with the 1.2, I really hope and pray that we have the capacity to raise the necessary revenue that will service the 1.2. But the allocation, the way the budget is now distributed, I don't think it's right. I'm hoping that our common legislature will look at it from the perspective of the people's benefit and redo it, readjust it in a way that 70% goes to the people and 30% goes to the government. That's my view. I will make on this budget. The 1.2, I want to see 70% into services that will benefit Liberian people, and people living condition will begin to improve in terms of education, in terms of road condition being improved, in terms of health. You understand? And the rest of it, energy, water supply. Once people can afford to have water and energy at their homes at an affordable price, and their children go to school and pay affordable school fees and whatever fees and acquire better education, fine. I'm going to hope also that this project will put an end to volunteer teachers in the various educational sectors. Because across the length and breadth of Liberia, all schools, all public schools have more than 10% or 20% or even 30%. In fact, in some schools, 70% of the teachers there are volunteer teachers. I can give reference to teachers' schools that I visited doing some of my field visits. Like I was telling my brother Gayman that the school I want to see in Wakatan, out of 11 teachers, only 2 are on public salary and government salary. 9 of them are volunteers. Why should that be the case? Right? I may have not school in Nimba, right? Only 1 person there is a government person, and that's the principal. The 7 teachers there are on volunteer, right? You go in my own home in Lofan, the public schools. They have volunteers are so many in the education sector that I'm hoping that this budget will address the issue of volunteers and remove all volunteers from the school system and make sure the people who are teaching those schools are on full payroll, and then the budget will benefit them. But I'm really against the increment into any other government sector. The 1.2, I agree with it. I hope we can raise the money, but to increase any government sector, I'm even all for decreasing. That means decrease salary. So, for example, if a man takes $4,000 home, why should we go out? Why should we give him a car to ride around to work? Why should we give him scratch car? Why should we give him a gas coupon for his car? Why should we give him other benefits? I would prefer if you got $4,000. I mean, I don't mind we can give you health benefit, but should we give you gas for your car? We should have car park at your station when you come to work. You need to use the car to do government work. The car will serve you. On your way home, you get your private car and go home. If you make the amount of even $3,000 in government, whoever makes that amount, take that home, should not be giving a car from government to take you to home and bring you back. That's too much expenses. The country is always struggling to get up, to get access into the real life of people improvement. So it is not time to be fabulous and extravagant as a government. This is a time to take out real established measures in the best interest of our citizens, our people. You understand? You have schools that have no chairs to sit in, no teachers. You have hospitals, people don't go there. People go there and they get diagnosed and say, you go buy the drug. I'll give an example. My own home in Vanjama. Almost every other day, people are on motorcycle going to Guinea, Masanta to get medical treatment, leaving the hospital in Vanjama or to the Myean hospital. Why is that happening? Why should our citizens leave from Vanjama to go get medical treatment in Guinea? Right? Simply because the hospital in Vanjama does not have the capacity to respond to the people's needs. Because if you will pay like maybe 1,500 or 2,000 on motorcycle from Vanjama to go to Masata to go get treated in Kamara, why do we spend our 2,000 to go to the hospital in Vanjama? But again, because the hospital there does not provide services that people need to be treated. So I'm very appealing to the legislative branch of government while they are reviewing this budget. They should look at it from the perspective of 70% on the people, 30% on the government officials or whatever they're doing as a government. Thank you. Let me stop here. I have more, but I want to allow other colleagues to make comments and I'll come back.
Yeah, let's welcome our usual host. He looks nice as always, but he's struggling today. I don't know what's going on with him. Mr. Basaman, if you can hear me, we know you're in the back there. Come out and stop hiding. But yeah, you're right, Johnny. So look, the entire budget for last year was $880 million, right? Out of that budget right now, and then some, is all going to recurring expenditure. So you would think they will have enough now because everything was coming out of that $880 million, but now they have, I think, over $900 million. But the problem we're having is, the government, instead of going the way you're saying, trying to collapse some of these agencies and shrink the size of government. Just today, the president is still appointing people. I don't know how many times this Imari Tule will be appointed. You probably know him. I don't. But it's like almost every other month he's in some kind of appointment letter. So he has been appointed again to LIPA, Liberia Institute of, I think, Public Administration or something like that. The president is appointing people, to carry and all of that. So yeah, I mean, look, we have, like we said, we indicated earlier, you got $200 million that may not be available again for a very long time. Why don't you invest that money judiciously? And this is the argument we're making in the CMC. Invest that money and grow it into something that will empower a lot more people. And this is where the belt tightening comes in. You get $200 million, all of a sudden you start increasing everything everywhere. That really is not. It's not the way to grow a government. To investment. Everybody will tell you. We always complain about, we don't have the seed money. You don't have the seed money. So last year you ran a budget for $880 million. You could have probably made it $1 billion and take that 200 out and invest it. As the CMC is arguing, you could put that into agriculture. We used to have the agriculture and cooperative development bank. I don't know. I hope this is the this is the reason they're appointing the carry director now, because that was one of the institutions, that used to help with research and all of that. I don't know, but instead of taking this money,
Victor, I have one question, Victor. I think you guys have had some time to review this draft budget. What does it say about job creation?
that is the point we're making, Johnny. They have only $280 million to do all of that, including creating jobs. Job creation comes from investment, right? You got to invest. You got to means of production. I mean, you probably know better. But if you have such a small amount that you have to work with, I don't see anything in job creation in there. I mean, we can look at it again, but I don't see anything there that promises, a robust job creation, like maybe tourism sector, those kinds of places that we can look to help create jobs. Honestly, I have to go back to it again and take a look at it, but I don't see much by way of that. And that's why we're asking, how do they expect to grow the economy? When you're not investing, there's a lot of feedback.
And what's the revenue source for this 1.2?
The revenue source, the $1.2 billion. Last year we got around 880 million. So they are projecting that the asset recovery will recover $10 million. Can you imagine that? That is in the budget.
So are they saying that asset recovery will recover $10 million and that will come to the budget for the fiscal year?
Yes. And then the $2 million sign-up bonus is coming from Salametel, which will not be available for next year budget and the year after. So when you add them together, you take us to $1.2 billion. So we get this 200 million windfall. Why don't we invest this money wisely? You understand me? Put it into agriculture.
Victor, another point is the last budget, the $800 million last budget.
Right.
Do we achieve any major milestone in the $800 million that we can show to the Liberian people that the area budget is what we achieve? And so by our move now to 1.2, this is what we intend to achieve also. Do we have any information, just in case you guys have done such review of the system?
Again, you just made a point that we've been making even before the CMC analysis, right? You look at the past and see how you did. Based on that, you make your projection in the future. Of that 880 million, I think we'll collect only $600 million. I mean, I don't know, but the year has not ended yet. But I doubt whether we made the 880 million. So now we have a very, very, amorphous foundation.
Because the thing is, my question is about upon the 800 million budget, did we implement all of our activities and programs that we projected for in that $800+ million during the past fiscal year?
Well, I can tell you one thing. After the Kufa removal, they had to recast the budget because they ran out of money. I am sure there is going to be a shortfall at the end of the fiscal year. There was a time, I think, when Director Dopoh was recruiting, taking more than 80% of the projected revenue. So we will see, Johnny. But this is what is confusing a lot of us. What I think Jerome here made that point 2 or 3 days ago. What is it that we're using from our past performance that is informing our predictions? Because the budget itself, we're looking for the future, right? What is it that what is it that we know we did so solidly that is telling us, okay, you know what, we can bring in $1.2 billion based on what we did this going year. We don't see that.
The point I'm making, for example, that we're discussing here, if in the $800 million plus last year, maybe we achieved in constructing, new schools or constructing new hospitals and other things, and we achieve it, and then we are at 1.2. We say, okay, look, all the 800 million plus, we have to achieve X and Y projects by doing this, and this. So we now, the 1.2 million we have, we expect that we expand on what we did in the previous budget to continue providing services and support to the people. Because, for example, I'm also wondering, is this 1.2 billion considering the demographics of the country in terms of the population and other things? Because take for example, right? We have a public school in Pinsville. They call it the Vocal Public School. PTS was a public school. I think that school was built maybe like in the 70s or so. But then Pewee had a small population. Now, Pewee is the largest populated part of the whole Liberia. Pewee district.
Yeah.
If you include, if you want to calculate the electoral districts, that district number 2, number 3, I think you are number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, about 5 or 6 out of 5 of the electoral districts in Montreal County are in Pewee district. We have one public high school. We have no public hospital in this district. So are they assuming that we should be running to go to GFK that is also does not have the capacity to respond to things? Are they considering to build a new hospital in Pinsville that will respond to the population in Pinsville? Are they considering to build new public high school that will respond to the young people in Pinsville? Are they considering that we should start building the way that children in the various districts will not have to travel to other part to go to school? Look, I feel hurt every time I'm coming from work around. So now I see along the road, I see children after school from the various high schools in Morovia coming to Pinsville, find it difficult to get on taxi or transportation and come back. I think if we organize in a way that the schools and hospitals in our various districts are up to standard, it will reduce the stress on the children getting up early morning as early as 5 to go and run for taxi to go to school in town on Broad Street or in Single or somewhere, as opposed to going to school right in Pinsville. So I'm looking at this project. Is it concerning building a new school in Pinsville, new public school, or a new public hospital besides the one Dopoh clinic that we have right here, which is just typically about 4, 5, 6 or 10 room hospital or clinic, that does not even respond to 10,000 population around here. So second thing, think of you want to Tomalin, right, Victor? Tomalin, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I did Tomalin was built maybe like in the 70s, but then Cinco was less populated.
1968.
Okay, fine, it's 68. So Tomalin is still the only public hospital in Cinco, and Cinco population has increased, maybe even triple what it was back then. So why are we then thinking in terms of population growth? Because development goes in population. That's it. That is the elementary, discussion on kind of development. You develop based on population. The need for people. Health, population development. You're looking at health, looking at education, you're looking at energy, you're looking at road construction, you're looking at water. You look at all those services we need. So I'm really hoping that our legislature, we will look at this budget critically and reallocate some of the things for public interest projects other than increasing salary or increasing benefit for people in legislature or judiciary or the executive. I mean, I will repeat this. I would prefer in the whole executive, the highest paid person in the executive, whatever minister, to be at $4,000. Until we can have schools and hospitals there, until our children can go to school and be proud as Liberian citizens going to school and be proud of their country. No one in this country, for a position of minister level, should pay more than $4,000. Maybe that must be too much. We have to look at people's interest.
So this is the scam that we're talking about. The executive is not able to say no to the legislature. Is that you? Okay. So the executive is not able to say no to the legislature. The CMC is recommending, for instance, the legislature would you cap the salary to $5,000, and that is exactly what you're seeing. The last year budget was $880 million. If you take away the $200 million from ArcelorMittal, we are saying we generate another $120 million to make it $1 billion, right? You asked the question. I don't know what the basis for that would be for such a projection, because obviously we didn't do anything to show that we have grown the economy. I think the GDP is projected to grow by, I think, 1.4 and something percentage, and not substantial. So the question you're raising, those are the question we ourselves that are confused, and that's why we're calling this the eating show. There is really no substantive data to back up what you're saying. Sylvester was talking about the life expectancy being 58 years. And I was saying the other day, we were laughing, but it's serious. Over 2,000 years ago, the Bible recorded life expectancy to be about 70 years. This was in 10. So now, after all this time, we're going backwards. But it speaks to what you're saying. The whole population in Pinsville. I used to live around Dopoh, even though my wife and I were in transportation, but there was times we didn't have our taxi and thing. To get a car from the red light sometimes up to midday, people fighting. You know,
Yeah.
it's never exactly. Services are stretched to the limit. You know, so there is a lot that could be done. Do you get $200 million all of a sudden now you get $10 million increase? You know, Kuhn is getting almost $500,000, $438,000 for what? To do what? To do what?
To do what?
Yeah, to do what? You know, why? And
So,
that's you know,
how much is he earning for a phone call? I guess it'll be around 3,000 or 4,000 for a phone call. Look, Victor, I'm sorry, but you know,
Johnny, we're in trouble. We are in trouble.
You know, sometimes I hate to laugh, but a lot of our own culture we laugh about serious things, but take it serious. You know,
yeah.
but
when
this
we
is not.
survive, we get everything sure that we all die from hypertension, and
the issue is the other day Mr. Gayman was on, was discussing patriotism, and I said those in our leadership are the ones that are unpatriotic, because if you want to develop a patriotic budget, being selfless, right? Being selfless as leaders, and this budget should show selflessness as a people to say, look, gentlemen, ladies, we didn't come to power to enrich ourselves, but to serve our people. Let's ensure that whatever we will generate, let everything go to the people. Let people go to JFK and have medical attention in short period of time, get treated and come back. Let people give testimony that JFK is more than even pre-war. Let people get testimony that Phoebe is doing well. You imagine out there on the show, the young man will hire Topa, one of the medical person who was discussing the cancer issue. He and his group, they are raising 15,000 to refurbish the maternity ward at Phoebe. You understand what I'm saying? So how much of that money, how much of the current budget is going to Phoebe? So the road that you guys were build in Bonka, the Victor, is it in the new budget that you start from building?
It's not there, and it was never there. Imagine, I have a friend that will be going at it all day today. It's not in the budget. Musa Ability is a legislator. They review the budget. The budget is not there. Many people have said that it's not there. You know, I don't see it in this current budget either. So how are they going to do that? The 4-year construction is not in that budget. It's not captured. Another $10 million, they say.
But who is building in 4 years now? Why did you keep? I heard
saying, Johnny, I tell you this.
Yeah,
I think the government.
So what's happening?
I think they have.
Why are we? Something happening. Secrecy.
Yeah.
Just
up to yesterday, the Minister of Finance could not tell where the money is coming from.
Even the private minister was on one of the platform. They were asking him. He said, "Well, go to the mansion." So something going wrong here, man. Something going wrong here.
We can't build bridge because we didn't go to public way, but they built a villa in Lofa. They will go to the mansion. What does that mean?
Yeah.
I tell you, Johnny, there's a lot going on. Garguah is starting to disappoint a lot of people. He came here and declared a budget outturn of $975 million, whereas the budget was $880 million, right? So that's a number of $95 million.
Somebody telling me that I'm not speaking a Lufian.
They want you to speak Lufanomics?
Somebody say I'm not speaking like a man from Lufa. I'm not speaking against the president. I'm speaking my opinion, my view on how I think our country should be managed and governed. You understand? And how the national budget should impact our people's life. We all of our life. Look, if you provide services to people here, if a man takes $300, $500 every month, and he can spend $200 of his money every month and satisfy his home affairs, and can keep $30 every month, right? Once you can do your regular expenditure, and you can save even 10, 15, 20% of your income every month, then you're making progress.
Yes.
But how do you work and earn, you can't save?
Yeah.
You can't.
And that is there where the problem is. You have the lowest of the low, hardly getting $3 a day. All right, you add that up, $3 times 30 days, what, $90 a month, and then you have another person in the same country facing the same conditions, making $15,000. Does that make sense to anybody? The lowest bound of the income is around $90 a month, and the people bringing $20,000, $15,000 in the same country.
Yeah, man.
Right. We need to create those conditions so that you can survive on $500 or even $90. Make the gasoline affordable, make the cup of rice affordable. Make the red oil affordable by creating those conditions that will make the marketers move the produce and
If you say all security personnel, right? The army, the police, the fire, the immigration, the LTA. Once you are fully employed in the system, you have insurance. You have health insurance, for example, right? Your children go to public schools or any school free of charge will be on government account. You provide some incentive, and the man takes $200 every month. It's $300 every month. It will help him because
you can stretch it, yeah.
Because you have to leave him or pay school fees, you have to leave him or medical bills from him and his family, and other facilities you afforded him, right? Then you are doing well. But if you pay the man $150 or $200, then the same $100 or $200 taking the school fees, pay your house rent, and send the children to get food for the house, hospital bills and things. Then it's going to be a struggle for us. So I'm appealing to Musa Blete and all those in the legislature. Forget about party politics. Let's let them discuss that budget from the perspective of the Liberian people. I would say, if you were to ask me, just for the clear blue sky, that whole 1.2, 70% should be more about the people. Bill, schools in Pin Bill. Look at, for example, you build the D2 in local town. Local town is populated now. D2 is not enough for the children in local town, right? The school in Botswana High School in Jamaica Road. That school is that area, that whole local town is populated. You need additional school for the people there, right? So, the budget should go towards population growth so that people can benefit from their natural God-given blessings in terms of our natural resources. And another thing is, how are we even allowing the natural resources to support our budget, right? What are we getting from the gold, the B Mountain in Kidmount? What are we getting to support the budget? What are we getting from Western Cluster? What are we getting from all the other businesses that are going around here? Even Jetty Rubber Industry, Firestone, right? Even the 200 million is getting from Asameter. What is it coming for? For what purpose? Right? How is Asameter going to even work in a way that will generate more tax income from them and also create jobs for young people that are graduating from various universities with different careers and the rest of it? So, I want to take this time to appeal to everyone from the first senator to the 30th senator, from the first representative to the secretary representative. Please leave political discussion, leave your party politics. You discuss Liberian people when it comes to this draft budget. If you guys are sure that the 1.2 will be raised, fine. You put that as a constant. Then the next thing is the allocation. Please cut down all the expenses you have on all kind of things. You are putting money towards the people's welfare, the poor benefit. Look into Dopoh Road. Look at the alleyways in Dopoh Road. You're driving from everything alleyway in Dopoh Road like you're not in city, right? Even if you got a brand new car, you ride on Silvertown Road, you ride on City Community, you ride the road going to bypass, go to SKD complex, all the roads there, your car is rocking and shaking. Those small roads can be built. We can quickly take the road and make sure we got access to moving around here. And we will reduce burden on your citizens in terms of maintenance of vehicles and other things. So I really hope that, if I hand over for someone that I will call and say, look, I beg you, please don't go to discussion with regards to politics, but look at it from the perspective of Liberian people. Look at the road from Lofa. I was in Lofa just 2-3 weeks ago, right? The road is gradually getting by. It's getting bad now. And I'm hoping that they can put some money in our budget to do the road again between Ogoru to Zozo, Konya, to Vonjama, and up to Foya, and the rest of it. And another point, even in Lofa, right? In Lofa, the road from Kolahu to Vahu, Fao is one of our major districts in Lofa County. That district has suffered a lot since post-war Liberia. No one has done anything significant on their road. There's an American man living in a place called Yandohun. It is him who have been trying to work with the people in that place to make roads around the hill, because that whole area is full of hills and high land and elevation. It's one man to call him Seleke, but he is Frank. I think Frank Minzote. I met him there a few years ago. It is him that is finding research, finding money to work with Liberian people around there to do handmade road, right? Then I go to the southeast, right? The road from Greenville to Jide and Jidepo, those two districts, even going towards or Kakipo in between Grand Cru and Sino. That road is so bad.
The road from River G that passes through my area, Barobo, that road is almost impossible. And we're getting moved the same feet to go and take a look at it.
Barobo going to walk Grand Cru. I took that road before, brother. Now, not recent, I think that maybe 6-7 years ago, I took that road.
Yeah,
I was wondering when I was in different part of the world. I did that in Liberia.
Yeah,
you know. Look, another area to travel in this country. Travel from Lofa Bridge to go to Kumbo. That's when you know that sitting in Morovia and allotting money for yourself to buy a square car, 200, 300 square car, taking 1,000 few. If you got a conscience for your people, you will not spend that kind of money on yourself.
Yeah,
you
and how many of our lawmakers go for constituency visit? I don't even know if they ever leave Monrovia.
The road you ride from Bopodu town to go to Bele Yala, that road that you can show the feed. I've been on that road. The hill they were showing the hill, Goma Hill. That hill almost a tourist accident every other time people travel that road with your own car. It's a very steep and dangerous hill. You understand? So the next road you gotta ride on is to be from Bopodu to go to Herrington, where you go to Kumbo, not Kumbo or Gemba, then you get to Bele Fasama. That road, it was a Kehleboe priest, Father Gary, Chickens Gary. He built most of the bridges now road going to Bele Yala. I mean to Bele Fasama. Chicken Gary. If you see the concrete bridge now road, right? It was built by that Kehleboe priest because he had a parish in Paloma, and he had to go there every time to go and minister the gospel of the Bible there. You understand? I know I can tell you a lot about things that I've seen in this country because I took up assignments. When people say I can't go there, I will go because I'm a Liberian. People who live in places need information about the law, need information about the virus. But then it was the Ebola virus. We went to places to go carry awareness to people to prevent themselves against Ebola. That's how I got to know most of those dangerous places in your country. So when I speak with Liberia, I speak from experience, and I got a passion that that's not the way we should lead this country. We may not have all the money, but let's do equitable distribution to the extent that our citizens will realize that the kind of government that's serving them. But we can't put 1.2, say 90% or 70% goes to your current expenditures, and somebody say because this ministry was like this, and maybe they want to build new rooms or bring new air condition. So that's why no. We should maintain with God. Let the people benefit from their natural giving a blessing above in this country. We should do that. Seriously, I'm appealing to everybody, the Senate representatives, the 30 senators. I'm appealing to them when the budget, time to discuss the budget, they should please try to put 70% to the people, 30% to recurrent. Whatever happened at the business, let us all struggle.
Welcome back, Sylvester. Well said, Johnny. Jerome is having internet problem. He was also bringing on a guest. The guest too is having problems, so he just wanted to let us know. So he might not be able to come back on. But yeah, Jerome, the CMC political leader has indicated he's going to write a letter, a dear friend letter, hopefully, to point out some of the things you're pointing out. Since this budget is still in the draft form, hopefully, some of these positions that the crafter have taken, maybe we can try to modify, if not vacate entirely some of these positions and redirect the funding to other much needed sectors. Hopefully, that can be done. Why are they giving these people $10 million? The legislators, why? Why is Henry, wasn't it Richard Kuhn getting another $500,000 increase? Why? You know, he got $1.4 million for nothing, you know, and now he's gonna get $1.8 million in change. Why? So you know, I agree with you. Hopefully, you know, our people who we're asking to represent us and decide wisely on our behalf how to appropriate the national pie. You know, hopefully, you know, they can really take this thing seriously. You know, as you were indicating, though, you know, they tried this year, but I think over 70 something percent again goes on to, I think it was 76 or 77% of this budget is all for recurring expenditure. You know, how are we going to make any progress at all, if any? You know, because you have to invest in our productive capacities to produce, to generate revenue. You know, but you pay the men $15,000. Most of them, you know, they get cold, they go to Ghana. They're not even investing in JFK to say, okay, you know, let me go to JFK and empower the hospital, you know, go to the pharmacy and buy my drugs from there. No. Everybody wants to go to overseas for advanced treatment, you know. Mosquito bite you on your finger, then you on the plane, you go into to India, you know, for advanced treatment. Anyway, Mr. Sylvester, Mr. Minister, welcome. I know you started moderating. It's your show. Please take it back.
No. Just that you guys been taking it up. We can just continue. But I agree, Mr. Nagbe, on a serious note. We should not play any game with the people and our one person, no matter what we all want to see the country succeed. But the point is that they have to be done in keeping in line with the ordinary people. If you were to today, I did some tour of the very basic area, the Ghanansville, the Bananville, the Kaba area, and my own community, the Dixville area. You know, there's a lot of there's a need for a lot of intervention, if you will, and so it's always important that the people are catered for. If in a way manner that we see the budget trying to move, how can we project these things to understand that we face these things in the way and manner that is required for us to do as state actors. Those state actors will have to behave in keeping with their fiduciary responsibility given to them in the public space, because the public did what they could do to vote, and we all performed our constitutional responsibility. And then we voted for our leaders. I did not at the time. I did not vote for Mr. Boakai. I did not campaign for Mr. Boakai. I did campaign for Mr. Weah, and I voted for Mr. Weah and Mrs. Taylor. But the problem is that, Madam Taylor, the problem is that that's part of that. Now that Mr. Boakai won the election, he's out of us president.
Yeah.
And I don't think he will ever imagine that those that didn't vote for him would now understand the African politics can be very counterproductive. Is the issue of winner taking all. The spoils belong. I mean, that system that we always engage in, we have to change at a certain point in time. And how do we get to those points that we have to see situation changing in the middle of how we want to go about doing things? So we have to be more or less very much engaged as a people. We can try to protect the people's interests and have some discussion about and having to hold our leaders accountable to us. So it's important. $1.2 billion, the debate is all over. The guys will run, they say there are a lot of sector areas going to move. A lot of things are going to happen. But and the CSA is saying something today. And in that, I didn't listen to the Minister of Finance when he was trying to give some explanation about this $1.2 billion during the presentation. I didn't hear the Minister of Finance say salary increment for Civil Servant. But it is the CSA that is now suggesting salary increment. I didn't hear anything basically about in that. But beyond that, we as people will have to again sit down and say, hey, how can we engage? Because if the situation were to continue this way up to the end of next year, then I think the Unity Party is in serious trouble. They are in serious trouble. We've got to engage with the people, and I've been talking to a lot of young people today. And from zero, imagine from age 0 to 34 constitute close to 40-something% of the population of this country. And I spoke to most of those people in that age gap, and they are, Mr. Nami, they are disillusioned. Some of them are almost getting disgruntled, but for now they are disillusioned.
Yeah.
And situations are pushing them to, they've been disillusioned or they are getting to be disgruntled, is that they believe times are very tough. Yeah, times are tough.
Yeah.
If you speak to some of them, they say, Brabi, the day, we don't even know how to start the day. Imagine you have young people that are hopeless.
Yeah.
So it's not a good thing. So it's good that we use the budget to restore some level of hope in these people. Then they will say there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of the country moving forward. But if that were to continue perpetually, and the folks going to see things going the way it's going, then that means the country is headed for a problem.
Yeah.
And trust me, no matter what you're going to do in terms of, you say you're baiting the roof on, people are always hungry in the morning because nothing is seen. There's no changes in their lifestyle. They're not going to work. They're not receiving paycheck. These are problems.
I mean, you remember the pronouncement to train 10,000 young people in electronics or technicians.
In the technology era, yeah.
Yeah, whatever happened to that? I mean, I had thought that was a signal that we were getting, as a government, we're getting ready to very, very productively engage with our young people. And I don't know if the training has happened, and if it has, whatever became of those who acquire, the training, they got the skills that were they giving startup, help. I don't know, but that what you're saying there, Sylvester, I thought really that was the beginning of productively engaging the young people, because the young population right now, they're more than 50%. I think about 65% or so of the voting population. Young people are always restless. They got too much energy. You got to keep them productively engaged. Otherwise, you have a problem on your hands. And every day we see some of them at the university. They're agitating because they're very knowledgeable. They understand what's happening. Now they're hearing the budget, and that's why someone was saying this budget, as aspirational as it is, dangerous, because it has the potential to raise expectation. You see the budget, you say, oh my God, $1.2 billion, we're all coming to get it now, but
Yeah, but Victor, I think also the pronouncement of 1.2 billion, on the other side, I see it as a political charge. They want to charge the population to believe that no one, previous government bring 1.2 billion. But like I told somebody today, I said, we expect our budget to increase every year. Even other countries, in other countries got 3 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion. The state don't see it as enough. They keep trying to find a way to raise revenue and expand their expenditure, expand their budget to be able to serve the people. So 1.2 billion is a big news because, again, most of all Liberia don't have that much of experience regarding what budget is, what it does for you, and what it should do for you. So politically, 1.2 billion, first thing is that political score, they want to make there first. Oh, yeah. And the other government didn't bring 1.2 billion. No. Even after the government will bring 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 billion, because once we're making progress, once we have peace, we have stability, and we have the way power to improve our economy, our budget will keep increasing every year. It will not be stagnant. If you recall, from the day Liberia was established, nobody was stagnant. It's been building over time. So this is not a political gain. No one should see the 1.2 billion as a political gain. No, but again, because our population, are limited in knowledge, being knowledgeable about this kind of thing, they see it as a big news. Oh yeah, 1.2. Everybody going all running around the social media, 1.2 billion. That's not nothing. Be interested in how the 1.2 billion that is being pronounced by the government will impact your life. In the sense that you will have schools, you have a health facility, you will have constant energy, affordable energy also, you have water in your home, affordable water, you will get access to internet, you will have affordable internet access, you will have affordable and better road condition in your neighborhood, in your community. When you feel proud, you say, yes, I'm proud to be a Liberian. So the budget should enhance patriotism. People should say, yes, this budget makes me feel as a Liberian, I'm a Liberian, I'm proud to be a Liberian. Not because, Liberia is the way it is, but we need to be proud. And there's something that make us proud as Liberians. And this budget, this 1.2 billion that is being so pronounced, should make us proud as Liberians to the extent that it will serve us. So again, I was always say 70% of the budget should go on the people. Let 30% go on God, president, ministers, legislative branch, judicial branch. That's it. All how to understand the country is hard. But you can't tell me the understand the country hard, then you don't experience hardship. You don't know what to call hunger. You don't know what to call and darkness in terms of no current. You don't know what to call heat. Because you still be on AC all night. Your car is cool, your office is cool, your bedroom is cool, your living room is cool. To some point extent, even the kitchen has AC, right? Whereas the kitchen should be hot, but it has AC. So, and then your neighbors, right? As soon as you get out of your fence, the next door neighbor all around you, they don't even know how to deal with start a few weeks. And that's a common thing in the country now. Probably I don't know how to deal with start.
Yeah.
But let me start my day. And in the last 2 weeks, I don't know why I haven't known, but maybe the way people you notice it. I've experienced now that every other person in Passport, someone will stop you to beg you for transportation. It's becoming, yeah. I noticed it just today. Today, when I stopped at the escape complex, I know passing through to speak to one of my friends. They one guy walking in my man, I'm going all the way, really, people pay my way. I said, I look at the guy for long and say, no, man, I ain't got money. Because I get talk like this guy's a scammer or some kind of criminal roaming around. But then they talk on one. I said, but I've been noticing this for the last 2 weeks now. Every time I go somewhere, somebody got want to me army for assistance. What happened? Is it that the similar I got money on me or what? But I think it's just a problem now we are experiencing in society. The economy is such that people are grown, they don't have income source, and they have responsibilities. Because there are some natural phenomena on you, my brother. I don't care how broke you are, you will need a woman. You were born child.
Let me ask you, Johnny, one of the pretext for which the LPRC was taking the storage, I'm getting feedback. So the pretext used by to take the petroleum storage from Shrimex or Musa Belete was, people will begin to feel the reduction in the price of gasoline and transportation. Has gasoline been reduced in any way over the past 2-3 months now since this action by LPRC? I think Johnny is frozen. Oh, you there? Sorry. You're muted.
So yeah, sorry. Sorry, I wouldn't be definite because to be very, very frank, Victor, I don't take too much attention on the price. I just go to the fuel station. I say I need $10 gas, and I put it in my car and move. I'll give me $15 gas. So now, but like I know that today I bought 4 gallons of gas, and my price was at $16. I think $16.08.
Okay.
So if you divide by 4, then I think it's somewhere around $4 something, per gallon. Yes, because I know I'm trying to remember what I saw on the bowl. I told the guy I wanted 4 gallons. I gave $20, and I saw $16.08. I think so. I think that's what I saw on the bowl. Okay. So if you divide by 4, you know the price of gas. But again, but the thing is, Brother Victor, in this country that we all know, once things are improving, you gotta say it. You will see it in people's lives. People will talk about it. People will say, yeah, man, things getting better. But they will talk about it. They will see it. You gotta be pronouncing it like government and the town crier. Yeah. But on the other hand, Victor, today is a special day, for me in my life. Today is April 12th.
Yeah.
2025. And on this day, it was on a Tuesday. I still remember it was on a Tuesday. I was a little boy. I think I was around the age of 17. We're in New Jersey Estate when the coup occurred. And this morning it was still calm. We didn't experience too much danger in the estate. So I had a big brother and another person, I should call him uncle. So he was a taxi driver. You know, as a young boy, he like car business. I joined him in car. He said, "Let's go wash your car." So we went to wash the car somewhere along the New Georgia road, and then we met with 3 military officers, 3 soldiers, and they stopped us to take them to New Georgia Junction. And then we drive to the New Georgia Junction. Another group asked us again, another military group again, asked us to drive them to Freeport. We drive that group to Freeport. Then the Coast Guard guys met us and said we should drive them into Buse Quarter. Now, you can imagine we're going towards the heat now, but all that happening, we don't know, right? So we grabbed these Coast Guard. There were 2 Coast Guard. They were in a white top. We grabbed them and Buse Quarter gas station. Then the old man driver said, "Oh, but Johnny, we got gas in the car." And one of the soldiers said, "Oh, yeah, go back to Share gas station." But then Share was, I think, around like I think 5th Street or 4th Street, somewhere around there where they had Share gas station. So we took the road from down Buse Quarter. We took that, I think, Houghton Street, that short street, passing through the police station to get to the maternity hospital. Then we took the road straight up towards the mansion. Here's the fun now, Victor and Pewee. Just as we arrived up the hill between the University of Liberia and the Kehleboe building, we were arrested by the soldiers, the government soldiers. As a young man, innocent, don't know what happening. "Hey, get from the car, you cannot." I met the guy asking on the car. They said, "Open the wood, open the trunk, open everywhere. Where's Kromah?" And I said, "More that question, where's Kromah?" So I said, "What talking about here?" So in my mind, young small boy, So that the time I experienced, gun pointing straight to my neck like this, I feel the muzzle of the gun touching my neck, and the guy pushed me towards the UL fence, almost to the gate, and I leaned against the wall and the gun went to my throat. He asked me, "Where's Kromah? Where's Kromah?" I said, "I don't know." Then the other guys are with the driver asking him to open the wood, open the trunk, look under the look under the seats and everything. And then when I look down towards Foreign Ministry down the hill, Victor and Pewee, I mean the number of soldiers, the combat land on the ground, like on duty all the way down towards Foreign Ministry that are going that way. So funny for me, New Georgia Estate was surrounded by police officers. I used to play football in New Georgia, and one of the officers there knew my parents. So one of the police officers who just arrived, he said, "Oh, Johnny, what are you doing here?" I said, "Oh, we came on the road to wash car, trying to smart through now. We came on the road to wash car, and this person. Then all the guys say, "Who are those three your brother can drop?" No. So anyway, lost and there were 30 soldiers that was supposed to coup. Pewee, I had no idea, man. Small boy, man. I had no idea. Nothing. I know what I had no idea. So finally, the police officer, I can't forget his name, man. I think he was Terrence or something. He was in the task force. He said, "Officer, you forgot it, man. I'm picking for New York. I said, "Then go back. You're leaving from the estate." That's how we're going that test like I turn the car around. The man who told me that guy was finishing the car, he didn't ask about guy again. We ran straight back to New York estate. So right now I'm laughing, but that whole period of time, from 1985, every time they come around when I get reminded, I can get like tremor, I can get that trauma feeling in me. I can feel someone within my body. So I want to down that day because it was serious. The whole UL campus, the whole Kehleboe building area, that whole mansion area was covered with soldiers everywhere. I could see them again when I turned this way. The cars were in all kind of mood, real combat mood, But again, young man, innocent, got no idea what the government building anything. Luckily, the police officer came and he asked me, "So, you let them go. I know they picking from the estate. He can play for PBD and all that. Let him go." So that's how we go in the car, turn the car around, and headed back to New Georgia Estate. So every time this day comes, I get reminded about November 12, 1985. And guess what happened? My man, I used to memorize Kromah's speech. I don't know for some reason. I don't know for no. I knew it like word for word. I used to stand and recite it, just speak like him. I don't know why the guy. Yes. And so, General Thomas Kromah, the forces of National Patriotic Front are taking over. Samuel Doe is in hiding. So. So, but anyway, I get to bring them in the discussion because this day, that's why I experienced with him. My only Liberian government experience comes with coup and other things.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people wrote about it today on social media. I think it's 40 years today now since that incident. Sylvester, where were you? April 12th.
April 12th?
November 12th.
November
No,
12th.
sorry. November 12th,
November 12th.
I was a young picking little boy in Sioux Factory, Ghana. I was on feedback.
Yeah, Johnny, I think there's feedback coming from you.
I was a very young boy, April tour, I think 1985, 6 years old. You know, and then seeing hearing about it. But one thing I can vividly recall, I can still remember things that unfolded basically around the April 12th time. Yes, very, I can still recall. My memory was certainly right. In the same, not too far from here, because I grew up in the Sioux Factory area, as a young boy coming up. But around that age, I remember there was one of my distant uncle that, you know, when the situation unfolded, you know, we used to have a lot of Crown people around here, the Crown people and other things. So when it unfolded, you saw some people started chanting against the Crown people, right? And then one of my uncle that was a traditional herbalist, distant uncle that was a traditional herbalist, it was said at the time when Kwapa spoke, we think Johnny was just trying to recite there. And then there was some chanting from my according allegedly my uncle Webb was celebrating in that celebratory mood. And then when the thing turned, then at the time I can still recall this because the area we live in Sioux Factory, I had two senior officers I can still remember. Like the former maritime chief and former deputy minister of Dr. James Scully's father was a colonel in the army, Colonel James Scully. He was a colonel. Then we have Captain John Wild Flomo. I guess these are two powerful Captain John Wild Flomo in the Sioux Factory area. I remember was up a little bit then in the same community, right? So we had some military people in our immediate community. So the way they came in our area when the thing changed, we had control. Military people didn't just come coming hitting people because we had a senior officer, two senior officers, we had a captain and a colonel. So that side was very quiet around the former city mayor Benjamin Stewart fence moving. Behind there was sticking on LPRC something fence. There were John Wild Flomo live at the time. They lived John Wild Flomo. I shouldn't say live. I don't know if he's there, but I'm not sure he's still alive. I'm not too sure. But I know that Colonel Cody is also there. So that's what I recall. But that old man Yankwe, when he claimed that his wife was celebrating, listen, there's a number of those military guys came for the old man. They borrowed that old man, put him in the front of his yard. And I think I felt that old man, he lived some years, but I think I felt that old man died from the consequence of that. Because it was alleged that when it happened, some Crown put out around and said, hey, we was celebrating that, the whole thing finished, and the thing finished, when we spoke. They brought the sand. Sand, you know the rough sand? Okay, you just beat the bricks. They put the sand in a big bowl and told him, says, the consequence of your wife doing this, and the woman was not even home. He was to eat the sand from the bowl. That woman ate that amount of sand. Then he went off I did left. They started calling people from the area. You know, I saw some of the unfortunate situations. As a young little boy, I can still recall that.
Yeah. And
I had a woman, he went off. They had to take that man to JFK and other things. Also, he died, Mr. Payapu. What about Payapu? He was also very so nice. He really helped him gain some things, started to vomit those things. So, and you will see the next day, came on the road, you will see trucks going with pool of bodies in it. You know, the Crown guys were just now going from house to house where they suspected who were supporter. A bulk of those that were being collected and executed were all people from Nima County now. They started to target the Nimayans. Yeah, they started to target the Nimayans, and that I can readily recall, and that it was traumatizing on a serious note. So that is not a thing that anybody would want to ever.
Robert, welcome. You know, Robert coming, but and the reason why Nima was hit so hard, you know, November 12, 1985 was preceded by the Robert Gise, DK Wansilie, the Kalongo Luo 1983 invasion, you know, that failed. So there was already tension, right? You know, and so when Kuyonkwai came, obviously a lot of people were in the street. I'm not lying to you. I was in the street. I was not cutting up then. I mean, because the student community, we had had enough with Doe. He was repressive. I mean, so yeah, and so a lot of people had to go into hiding. But Robert, welcome. It's good to have you.
Thank you. I've been following the conversation.
Today we are supposed to have a guest on, Mr. Gayman, but technology let him down. So we just kind of free. What do they call it? What do we call it? Free mic, or how do they call that? Open mic or whatever. But we're talking about the budget. We're talking about the MCC score. I think the government passed 12 and failed 10. I think we'll have time to kind of delve into that into detail later on. But you can take your pick. April 12, whatever it means to you, Robert. You're very young. I don't know. I don't mean to insult you. But I don't think you'll have much to go on there. Like Johnny almost stepped right into the thing.
I definitely I wouldn't have much to say about that. I definitely.
But I tell you though, Robert, I know you're coming. When this happened,
Robert, you're not born then?
No, I don't know.
Nah, man.
Yeah. You're not born 85.
Yeah.
85.
No, I wasn't born 85.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember I was not
talking about big marbles as small ball.
Yeah, I think Johnny got a again. There's a lot of echo.
No, if I was 6 years old.
Yeah, but I remember you guys are young. I wasn't cutting them then. They didn't I thought ADC. It was one time deputy minister during the Taylor government at the Ministry of Health. He was my roommate on Cardinal. We were very close. We came from high school together. We also had just
it's like our 5 years. You have not reached yet.
Yeah. Well, that now I already have my first daughter, so now let me just tell you.
First?
I had my daughter when I was in Tottenham High School, 1981.
Oh, I know you are saying high school.
Tottenham High School, I graduated Tottenham High School 82. 82.
You started
1982.
Was it a mistake or?
Oh, right. The man you're going so you're fiery.
Yeah, I was in 11th grade. You're right. And was it a mistake, Robert? Yes, it was unintentional. I mean, obviously, I didn't marry the girl, so we were not. We're just having fun. But
that the kind of mistake can cover. The parents say you keep the thing. The girl say no, you're not.
That's right. And my daughter is here in Newark. She lives in West Orange now. She has 2 kids herself, so I have 2 grandkids.
You keep it better, It can happen to everybody, my man. So.
Yeah, but I was.
You're lucky to be maybe on that side. You didn't have the time to say you do. Keep it better.
And the funny thing is, she grew up with my sister. So up to today, she calls me her uncle because all my sister's children, they call me in, but she knows I'm the dad. But we don't have that kind of tight. She's close to my wife than she is to me, But anyway, so we were cutting down. Joseph Seguano, he called us when Arthur said myself were in the student center, being stupid, talking stout and having a time of our life, like Sylvester said, the general white, the damn thing, this thing is over whatever it is. He called us. He said, gentlemen, this thing is not settled. I want us to start to think about an exit plan. If this thing turns around, we got to find an exit how to get out of this campus. And we couldn't understand what he was talking about. You know, he had been ambassador to the U.S. representing Liberia. So, you know, he was more perceptive about these things. And truly, that thing turned around. And it was ugly. I mean, we're friends now, but we had some of our friends with us on Cutdown who had relatives who were higher up from Granger in the government. You know, the Garguah family, you know, the KD family, you know, there are a lot of them. We're very good friends now. We know, but it was pretty tricky because when the tide turned, like you said, it was Sylvester who talked about the truck loads and all that thing. It was pretty ugly. There was a spree. I don't know if I should say vengeance, but there was an all-out attempt to purge, and of course, Kumankwa was, hunted down, and the rest of it is history. But this thing, when you start talking about them, people get re-traumatized. But that's 40 years ago. We thank God that Liberia has been able to get past this. However, because the scars are still here, we haven't really had closure to these things. We're hoping the TROC was going to bring some kind of closure. It hasn't happened. And what precipitated the coup, the whole Native Congo divide, is still here with us. We haven't been able to address that. I mean, I'm a Native guy. I have a lot of Congo friends. I don't even remember it until people bring it up, but it is still around. Some of my friends, is people were also scarred. Some of our friends from the TWB days, the grandkids and other, some of them that, they were dispossessed of their, the life that they knew growing up, and I you understand the trauma. So it's a very, very difficult and complicated, topic to discuss. But there are a number of us who are always been hoping that there will be some kind of way we will find a way to reconcile each other. It's a small country, everybody's related to everybody, and we all need each other, we intermarrying, we got friends all over the place, and I don't even know if there's really a Congo president in Liberia anymore. I don't know. I mean, we do have a class system, and those who have it, they will hang out together. And then there's the rest of us who don't have it, and we'll hang out together. But anyway, Robert, I'm sure you want to say something. I'm sorry.
No, before Rock, I want question so Robert can chime in. Because even though he wasn't around him, but what would have happened, like one of our viewers asked, what would have happened if the school has succeeded?
Well, I can tell you though.
Mute
Johnny, I think you gotta mute. This is one of the things that is even being held against Thomas Kwiwonkpa, right? He did not come with a strongman posture. Looks like he was more of a conciliator than Doe was. And so had he succeeded, maybe the excesses that were committed by the PRC and later the NDPL-led government, maybe those excesses would have been minimal. And therefore, maybe Charles Taylor, who took advantage of the hurt that the predominantly Namibians were feeling because of all of what we talked about, 1983, 1985, repeat, and they were heavily recruited by the NPFL, and so it's a big if, Johnny. It's hard to tell, but it's probably not a mistake to assume that we would have probably had a much lesser bloodshed and a much lesser traumatized nation than we have today, I think.
But do you think that would have been a way of bringing the progressives to power?
You mean through Thomas Kurongwa? I mean, Thomas was, he flirted with Marcus Dan. Marcus came from Nimba, the late. DK Wansile I talked about. Those were all, PP progress. Those were PAL and little PVP people. So that way you probably, but I he was a military guy. The military people they tend to stick together. So I don't know, Johnny. I honestly don't know. But I can also tell you that the progressives, they wanted to come to power through elections. If you notice the falling out Sawyer had with doing all of these falling out they had because they wanted this guy to return the country to democratic, civilian rule. And President Doe hesitated, but then when he was forced into it, you saw what happened. Jackson Doe, all these people laying claim to the election result. But that is how the progressive wanted to come to power through a democratic means. So they came in and helped, but within the first year or two, they started really falling out with the military regime.
Yeah, so I'm asking because my opinion when I think about this thing, and some of the story we have heard since this coup situation, I'm assuming that the Kromah coup was prepared in the background by some progressives, and maybe they had some kind of agreement with him that if he takes over, he would just rather run the country right into an election, and that would have been a way for any of them to take. Because in 1985, they were the heroes, they were the movers and shakers of our Liberian politics. So I think in my mind, from the way we have seen things and the way we've heard some stories around our Kromah coup, I think they were playing some role in the background, and it was they have made some agreement with Kromah to make sure that if he takes over, maybe in 6 months or so, he will turn the country into civilian rule. That's what I thought about. That's my background. That background, my question.
And you could be right, Johnny, but to be honest with you, I'm unaware of any story. I never heard that around Gary Matthews or the guys I associated with. You're talking about Oscar Queer, Dan Kankala, and all these people. I never heard that. But I can tell you, though, Thomas was speaking the language. Even the little Robert G said, they spoke the language of the progressives. And so I can tell you there was a certain comfort level with them. But to the extent that Kurongwa was influenced, I don't know. I have absolutely I have absolutely nothing to point to that this might have happened, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. But I do know that from the UPP side, I never heard any such thing being talked about. Matthews as a person, he was really I can tell you, I am a few of my colleagues were approached when the BlackBerry training was going on in the interim government time. The guys who went to Guinea and then to Ethiopia and all of that, we were approached as the party to send our quota. And Matthews said, no, it's not happening. Because his thing was, no matter how much forces you can never be bigger than the government, and eventually it will catch up with you. And so we didn't go. And so I'm just saying this to say, we've actively avoided militarizing politics. We always felt and up to maybe 83, 84. UPP was so confident, you think the CDC is popular now, but we were really, really riding the crest. And so we always felt, we will win if there were any elections. And so, we didn't want to do it militarily. We wanted to do it democratically. So as to Thomas, being influenced again, it could have, I'm not sure again whether our LPP brothers, had anything to do with him, but it's not impossible. Politics being what it is, Liberia is a small country.
But Gene, I'm I'm a pretty small boy amongst the big boys. But every time the conversation is held, the only thing that I think about is,
some of the very things that led to the coup, right, are still are even worse today in Liberia than they were under the American Liberian, right? Because the American Liberian, of course, through the True Wind Party, as far as, and I stand corrected, they were seen as the elite class in Liberia, right? uh, and the government was a reflection of them. The miracle Liberia and the settlers and things like that. They could not relate to native Liberians, right? The folks that were called country people, or native people, in a condescending way. They just could not relate to the people, and I'm not sure if efforts were made for the settlers to really understand the native Liberian and to create an environment where they could live together, to create an environment where you could have, like we have in this country. In every country, whether they're native or not, you're always going to have a class system. You're always going to have middle class, you're going to have upper class, you're going to have folks that are rich, you're going to have folks that are poor. But you create an environment where people can feel dignified, can have dignity amongst themselves. The American Liberian did not create that. I'm not sure if the coup was properly planned as far as what would happen after the coup and how the progressive and others, really plan on addressing some of the issues that existed with these guys, because history shows that I don't think much was learned. I don't think there was a plan because when Doe came, the same class system got worse. The only difference now it was a native president. It was no longer the American rule, right? And I'm not sure how that happened. I'm not sure what changed. And so the more you think about it and you look at what's happening now, even with Joseph Boakai, Joseph Boakai is not a Congo man. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, yeah, she had that Charles Taylor, yeah, but Joseph Boakai is not a Congo man. Former President George Weah, I don't think is can be seen as a Congo man. But when you looked at what has happened now, uh, and what had the native folks in the streets and what to some extent motivated the coup was that you have a few folks who are considered the elite. They may not be native, they may not be Congo, they may not be descendant of American Liberians, right? But they are considered the elite because they control the economic powers of our country, while the majority of the folks are still living poorly in developed rural communities. These are the same things that happen, in the 1980s or the years leading up to the 1980s. And so I guess to Johnny's question and some of the questions that I asked, maybe Liberia would have been better off had the coup not happened, and maybe we would have, as we evolved, maybe we would have figured this thing out, right? Because the more people I see, Americans and white folks and folks Lebanese, they have been able to assimilate. They have been able to learn the Liberian way. They're in Liberia. Some of them are married to Liberian women. They are attempting to speak the colloquial, right? Now, because in 1960, even though there was still this elite and this divide, in 1960, as history, and I stand corrected again, there were rapid development. Things were changing. The economy was booming. It wasn't a reflection of the livelihood of all Liberians, but the economy was booming. Tourism was booming in the country. Liberia was referred to as the America in Africa. Maybe things would have been different, and maybe we would have just figured out as time went by. Because when we talk about the lesson learned, after all of these years of civil crisis, after all of the senseless killing, to be frank, quite honest with you, we are still we're still backwards. We're still dealing with the same things that you guys fought for. But this time we're dealing with it at the hands of the natives
Yeah.
instead of the American Liberians. So I don't know.
So Robert, and I'm sorry I'm jumping because I'll be leaving you guys in another couple of minutes or so. I gotta go and pull a different duty somewhere else. But the point you're raising is totally correct. Maybe if there hadn't been a coup, maybe we wouldn't be where we are today as a country. But I can tell you it is difficult to imagine that there wouldn't have been a coup, given the way the less than 5% of the population was so dominant and they were subjugating us. I am telling you, Robert, life before 1980 for the native person, it was ridiculous. It was horrible.
So let me ask you this question: Do you think, and I wrestle with this? Do you think I have my own theory, but do you think, and maybe Sylvester can chime in this, right? Do you think Liberia would have been in a better place? I don't think so, because I think there were various factors. You had the Charles Taylor, you had the Prince Johnson, and all those guys. But let's assume had Doe accepted to go into exile into Great Britain, or because Great Britain was being offered, there were his children went. He said, "Hey, you got to try to fly," and went to Great Britain. Had Doe accepted to go to exile, do you think Liberia would have? Do you think the civil crisis would have been prevented? I don't think so. But what do you think would have happened had Doe created an environment for a transition, a democratic election, prior to his capture, and had just left and went into exile? Do you think that we would have had 1997, for instance, where we had a democratic election with the peace agreement, or do you think that still would have taken us into a civil crisis, because you would have had the Charles Taylor, who was also vying for the presidency, the Prince Johnson, the rest of the guys from the progressive? Or do you think that it was, regardless of what would have happened, nothing would have prevented the civil crisis then?
Well, you almost answered the question. Let me tell you, if when the first bullet was fired in Butuo, right? If President Doe had seen the wisdom of organizing a government of national unity, as was being advocated by a lot of people then, by bringing in, the progressive community, the coup makers, including Charles Taylor and others, maybe we wouldn't have seen the catastrophe that we witnessed. But by the time it got to where Doe had been offered asylum elsewhere, Charles Taylor had become so emboldened, nothing would stop. I mean, you saw Charles Taylor fight Ecomoc after Doe had left the scene. Taylor he was feeling now that, he was smelling it. Yeah, I mean, he was knocking on the door. And so, if Doe had left them at the time when he was being besieged, I don't believe, Charles Taylor would stop anything other than taking over the country. But like I said, when he was in Butuo, and Samuel D. Hill and, the speaker then had come in the legislature and authorized the president to spend any amount of money. You understand me? And this, sending people to Butuo and the president. There were stories of how these young Nimba kids were taken by truckloads, taken and brought down to Monrovia, and I can't verify, but there were stories. So these atrocities, instead of resorting to that, if the president had accepted, the president was telling people he can't negotiate with rebels and all of that, and they were Chester, what's his name? Is it Chester Cracker or Hemacoin? One of them, I don't remember now. They were actively trying to negotiate a government of national unity. I'm aware of that because Matthews and Sawyer and all these guys were approached, but the president wouldn't have it. And so we had these egos, Doe at the time was in the mansion. He had a whole country except Butuo. But then when President Taylor, by the time he hit you know, Banga and all these places, I think it was almost already late for him to settle for anything less than the executive mansion.
But Charles Tiller did, but I guess and I agree with you. But I guess my question is Charles Tiller, because Doe was still president. And at the time he had lost the backing and the
Yes.
support of Washington D.C. But the U.S. still had massive interest in Liberia to the point where they did not necessarily want to see. They did not necessarily want war.
And
Uh,
that's exactly your point.
right.
Interest, not necessarily in Doe or Taylor. They just wanted to keep the place.
Exactly.
Correct.
So I don't think they wanted Taylor to become president, but they needed someone, who understood what they wanted, to
Correct.
get done to lead that effort. Because from all indications, we know now that the U.S. back. But I guess Charles Taylor did what Doe, in my opinion, and again, excuse my ignorance, but I think he did what Doe could have done in the instance of in the instance. I think he did what Doe could have done in the instance of, listen, I don't think I can fight this any longer, and if I do agree to fight this, I could lose my life, and a lot of other folks could lose their life, because had Charles Tiller continued to fight in 2002, 2003, we all know he had lost everything he had. So I
Yes.
guess my thing was, Doe had no other option. Had he left and created an environment where, you can have an intern government, and he goes into exile, and there's an election, maybe, just maybe, Charles Tiller and the rest of these guys could have been a part of an election, a democratic election, happening.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, because even after Doe was killed, I think there was at the time it had already boiled over. There was no stopping as far as the civil crisis at that point. But most of the time when you think about what we went through and the hands involved, sometimes it's complicated, because, like you said, the way Native Liberians were treated back then, you can't question why certain decisions were made. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
in hindsight, it makes you want to think that maybe we made some really terrible choices, and the decisions we made, we didn't really have some a serious plan to tackle some of these issues. Because decades after, when you see Liberia being ruled by native Liberians, and how the very native folks and the very poor folks who live in these very poor, developed rural communities that you got the progressive fought against with the American Liberians, it blows my mind. It baffles me how they will treat that very native brothers and sisters the way they did. The same way how natives were killing natives during the crisis. People were
I would
killing.
I would
and
say
1 minute,
this.
and Rabo,
I wanted to
your point
welcome
is because
Dr.
it's very
Peabody.
fine,
Go ahead, Johnny.
but okay, go ahead.
No, I wanted to say, Dr. Peabody, welcome. If you can hear us, nice of you to join us.
The internet is really bad. I don't know if you guys can check it.
Johnny mute. Johnny mute.
Johnny's line is very bad tonight. There you go. Once you
I said the
mute,
internet is very bad. I don't know whether you guys can even get me.
No,
yeah,
we
we
can
can
get
hear
you.
you.
We can
We
get
can hear
you.
you.
But Dad, how come Sylvester on the internet is good?
Maybe some other guy additional layers to the
No,
internet.
that's not
I'm
good.
using.
And even Johnny is also, but
I'm
Johnny was
using Starlink, Raul.
So you just so how about you have? That's the most expensive one, eh?
And that we are the new progressive boys. We spend money.
What's that ship in Freetown? What's that ship in Freetown?
That's just good.
The multi-ship guys, they're very conservative with their money.
I'm using Starlink. So
yeah, because Sylvester internet is very good. It's very clear.
Always
yeah,
you can't even the email to enter it takes up a full 5 minutes just buffering.
Yeah,
So
when I'm in Liberia,
I
that's
just
how I
listen
like
to
to
the
be like
conversation.
that, Sylvester. So that's good. I don't like no. Give me the best internet that there is. But that we can hear you. We can see you. We can hear you very clear.
Okay. But I mean, I'll continue the conversation, Johnny. Oh, good to see you.
No, I was going to say before I leave you quickly. I know Johnny wanted to come only because I'm leaving. the problem that the mistake that Mr. Taylor made, Robert, he made himself undesirable to the Americans. At the time, the American foreign policy was, very aggressive. They made very clear what they wanted and what they didn't want. The gumbo diplomacy and all of that. Mr. Taylor, and he said that even while he was in exile, he thumped his nose at the Americans. You understand me? He made them uncomfortable. You talked about the interest at the time they had Omega State. They had lots of interest in Liberia. And I think they had decided that Mr. Taylor was not going to allow them to enjoy. These people gave Samuel Doe almost $1 billion in aid over the 5 years before the war, the year that he was president. They invested a lot in Liberia. But Mr. Taylor was sounding and behaving like he was going to be hostile to the Americans. And I think that then made them feel kind of obligated to continue to help Mr. Doe whichever way he could. But of course, eventually he collapsed. But I think that made it a little bit more difficult to negotiate that settlement that we were talking about. Because look, there were so many conferences. You're talking about Yamoussoukro 1, Yamoussoukro 2, you're talking about Banjo, you're talking about Accra. All of these places, they will go there and they will carry their attitude. The NPFL people will go with the attitude. The NDPL people from Monrovia will go with the attitude. And it was very difficult to bring these sides together. There's so many peace conferences. So, again, I just feel like if Mr. Taylor was not given the opportunity by President Doe to cut out a good swath of the country to the point where he started feeling presidential as well, forming the NPRAG government and all of that, I think it would have made the interim government thing, easier to sell. But once Mr. Doe became minimized, the problem we have with dealing with Charles Taylor, sometimes he will not go to these meetings. And the people will be there waiting for him. He will not go, So it's just really a tragedy for our history, what happened to over the past, 20, 30 years or so. But I want to thank you guys.
Before Johnny coming, because I do think that, in as much as I know this is debatable, but I do think that had Charles Taylor really, I think maybe Liberia would not have had elections in 2023 had Charles Taylor, been stubborn enough to say, you know what, even though I don't have the ammunitions, I don't have the resources to continue this fight, but he had enough to drag the fight beyond 2022 or 02 and 03. And he decided to just stay and continue fighting. We probably would have dragged this on to another 5-6 more years. Before we but I just think that some decisions were made selfishly. The future of the country was not considered, and I think a lot of people felt untouched. A lot of people in high places felt like, regardless of what may come or what may happen, I don't think I'm going to get touched. And a lot of those people got touched. A lot of them got killed. A lot of their families got killed because they did not see Liberians. I mean, there were people being killed that were not even there were people being killed only because of where they live, because of how they didn't speak to certain people, because of how they treated certain people. I mean, people were being killed for all kinds of stupid reasons, man. And after all of this stuff, we are still making the same mistakes. But like I said, this time, the native folks are treating their own native brothers and sisters as if they are Congo or American Liberians, and it seems that we haven't learned.
So as I leave you, remember I said I don't believe there's any more Congo and native in Liberia, but I believe there is a class system now in Liberia. There's a bunch of people who now, that class is well and kicking. A bunch of well-off people in Liberia, they hang out together, whether they're native or Congo, they're buddies.
No, but I think that they still have Congo. I think the difference, I think now, I think the mindset has changed. It's no
that's
longer,
what I'm talking about, Robert.
Right,
I mean, most of the but
because now they will call you a Congo man. There's no way you can be a native man in Liberia now.
And I don't debate that. Even Johnny, Johnny, they're just telling him that he doesn't speak like Lofa man. But I'm saying to you, I don't really believe there is a thoroughbred, pure Congo person anymore in Liberia because it's a small country. We hang out together, we mix, we take on attitude, because we're all the same people now. I don't really believe there is real real native, Congo person anymore. The great children, great grandchildren are still there, but what we have is those who have, they will get along. Never mind Congo or native. I know a lot of my native friends who are very wealthy, and the best friends they hang out with are the wealthy, Congo kids. And then there's also my very good Congo friends who don't have much, like myself, and we really get along very well. So and coming back to the native thing, and that is the disappointment that some of us are feeling, even with this current government. My own point of departure with this government is this is the government that is made up of primarily, so of us. When I say so of us, the strugglers from in the streets, the activists. I can name so many of us in this government who came through the student activist community, the political movement, and all of that. We are in this government, so we have a very, very good understanding of the things that matter to our people. We're not elitists. We're not out of touch with we're not supposed to be out of touch with the ordinary people, right? But there are a lot of us who have acquired a certain taste, and it is making it difficult for us to do the right thing. Unfortunately, a lot of that is happening today, and so and that is our reality. Unfortunately, how we'll get past that, I have no idea. Maybe some of you guys do, but definitely we need a changing attitude, a national changing attitude. And so that, like Robert was saying, we learn to put country first. Right now, there is a lot of individualism. But I want to thank you guys very much. I got to run. And Dr. Peabody again, be safe out there. Sylvester, be safe out there. When you talk to Tomalin, Doc, tell him we'll say what's up. Hopefully, I'll be with you guys tomorrow, Johnny and Robert. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
And thanks to our audience as well. Thank you,
brother. Take it easy and extend greeting to your family too. So, but like I heard Robert and you talking about the indigenous people, the native, and that's why I want to reference our present governance system. Look at our national budget. Does it represent the indigenous people? Does it represent the native people? You understand? So the very things that our forefathers or our progressives, whatever, fought against the Congo people for, I've not seen any departure from those systems. Right? We don't see any departure from those systems. So it appeared to me like they were only trying to come in power to enjoy the same way those that were there were living and enjoying. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I try to even refer that to the African liberation fighters. You had the Europeans who colonized you. Okay, now they gave you independence. I would have thought that the independence would have brought a typical African leadership style. But the independence gave you take over, you step in the same shoes of the colonizers. So then why are we? Where are we with the issue? Since the Kehleboe president Tomalin, and I told somebody as at the current level where I am now, and no amount of justification will convince me that it was important and necessary to keep President Tomalin. Because since Tomalin died in 1980, today we are 2025, that almost about 40 plus years, or even almost 40 plus years. What have we done differently in this country that is different from pre-1980? To the extent that we'll be proud as native or indigenous people say, yeah, we took they were playing a song, My Papa's Land, Give Us the Land. That was the leading song in 1980 on all the radio. In fact, I will get to radio here, EFBC and EAWA radio. right? But since 1980 to now, what can we show that our indigenous people have taken this country? Okay, we fought war 1990, we finished. 2005, we brought a new government that was 99.9% indigenous people in the legislature, in the executive. Let's say we agree, early in Congo, we agreed, the next person out there, Osakapo. Even in the Senate, some of the debates that Osakapo raised as people calling Congo was more about people's benefit than the government benefiting. Every time I heard Osakapo speaking on the radio about the budget, about things, it was always about the people benefit, about building roads and building schools and improving the economy. He, as a person will call Congo, how many of our indigenous brothers and sons or sisters that my empire come from, Kehleboe Gongloe, Bandi, Mandingo, Pere, whatever, how many of them really raise issues about the budget? Look at right now, look at the current budget that was drafted by a government that is 99.9, in fact, 100% indigenous. Look at the budget, how it look like. Does it represent indigenous people? Or does it represent the native people? Or does it represent the other people? I say no. The very people now who are in power, it goes around them. How can you plan 5 trips for a minister on the budget as though you know as though you know that he'll go on 5 trips or 5 foreign travel? How can you plan for 10 trips for a minister or a director as though you know that in this coming budget year we got the events he or she will go to? You understand? And look, we have to take some serious authoritative measures as indigenous and native people in this country. It won't be that level. But someone can come up with, why are they? Someone can come up in the country. Their children are still around, the great grandchildren are around. They're still living good life. Except those ones that won't be regulars, but they're still living good life. They are in the back, right? They look at us, they get laugh at us in some instances. So we have to try to tell the rest of the world that Liberia is in the hands of indigenous people, the tribal people in this country that fought against the settlers from America, that look, we are in charge, we have the capability, we have the strength, we have the intelligence to lead this country and carry it to its higher heights. Other than that, we'll be in the same circle of biting each other and not making no progress. Now, the celebration in Liberia now is that we're about to build an overpass bridge, from somewhere in Pinsville or Congo Town coming to Cookman Place. That overpass bridge now, that big story for us. Right? I mean, in my mind, it will help to just alleviate traffic. That way we'll do it. We'll alleviate traffic, we'll reduce the traffic around the ministerial complex and other parts of Congo Town. But we need to rethink how we establish, how we configure our national budget so that the native people that say we are in power, it will serve us. So the people in River G, people in Kehleboe Gongloe, and people in Barrebo, the people in Bulo, I mean, people in Jerome or Jide, people in Pinestone, in Buto, you understand? People in Myean, you understand? People in compound 1, compound 2, compound 3, people in Kumbo, people in Gola Kone, in Kehleboe, people are in Bere Fasama, people are in Nima, Kawiye Tuo, those far away places, let them begin to enjoy the benefit of the country. Up to this time, my brother, you go present in the country, people still feel that they are distant from the government, they are distant from what's happening in Monrovia. So, I mean, this Congo and Congo for me, since I got elected, I've been trying to follow things. I don't think for me, I will always say to myself, I don't think it was important that Kubo, Nati Edeku was important. Personally, that's my view. I may be wrong to all people who see it. But I personally, for what I've seen over the last 40 plus years, I don't think it was important at all to have that coup in this country. Because I don't see the difference that's made. Like me, I got affected from it. The 1980 coup made the world come in Liberia. The 1980 coup led to all the issues of 1990, 1985, everything else that happened in the country.
Yeah.
When I had 1980 coup, personally for me, I don't think this is where I would have been. I would have been by far more better than where I am if everything had been stable, right? We're going to school, we're getting educated gradually. We'll come to the point where we are getting fully educated and we will transform Liberia through a mindset situation, not through struggle like armed struggle and the rest of it. You understand? But however, that's nature. We had a 1980 coup. We had several activities in the 80s. We had 1990. All of that has passed. Now we started a new course now of the country. 10205. What are we doing to say that Liberia went through a difficult history? but we are moving forward in these areas that will make the rest of the world to admire us and respect us. What are we doing? Look at our current budget. We got 1.2 budget, 1.2 billion. Yeah, we are excited about that. How is this 1.2 going to benefit the country? And the Liberian people will benefit and say and be proud to be patriotic Liberians that are benefiting from our country. How? So anyway, gentlemen, in the next 2 minutes I'll be departing here, but thank you today. I'm happy to see my boy, my brother, my RA brother Peabody, and my yellow uncle Sylvester. It was a good time meeting. I hope we can meet again before you guys can return to your place for hustle. Because your home is here. All that sort of hustle then.
That's true. Robert, you know, you really said it well. What is very scary at the moment is to see some of the very people who advocated, talk about Congo, treating like people now, like country people. That's what we see. Some of the folks that took over, now having position. You know, like you said, Johnny, they want to live the same lifestyle that the Congo people are living. You know, they want to have build home for women, do this, you know, buy cars and do this for women. And then the very brother who they grew up with was sitting in the corner. It's no more that their peer. It's no more, you know, the call about where they can sit and have a drink and talk or visit. They changed. They have changed on them. Life is in their favor now. They're riding the big cars. They got 2-3 securities behind them. They got people walking with them behind them with guns and holding the bag and stuff. And when they get places now, they see their own brothers that they grew up, they like just walk and pass, and then the next thing, the character, oh, that man, that's serious, man. What if I got opportunity now to make some money? I look at them and stuff like that. So the whole thing hasn't changed. It's just a new trend. The Ghana people have been gone more than 20, 30 years ago. Who taking the traditional Liberian? How traditional Liberian treating their brothers and sisters? How to treat their brothers and sisters? Some of them don't even want to go back to the very village they came from. They even visit and say, I'm going to build a home here. They don't want to do it. Exactly. Look, I'm building a house.
I'm going
in a place, you know.
I'm going to the village next week. You know,
great.
But
at least you're going to the village. But that let Tosso. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have not gone to the village. You know, I have not gone to the village. I have not gone to my father's village town, Trey town. I will go one day. But I think sometimes too, you know, I was coming from Buchanan one night, and my vehicle broke down, and it was the scariest thing ever. It broke down on a highway, and I made a mistake. I was driving a Range Rover. I don't know who told me to take Range Rover to Buchanan. We were coming, and right in the middle, right before you get, I think like maybe 6 miles before you get to the checkpoint to come into yes, my vehicle broke down, man. Dark. That thing scared me. And
if I want to be with you, I'd have to open the trunk. That put beer, we start that drinking. That's what I think.
But man, it was scary. We have cooler in the back with drinks. We have cooler with drinks.
Drink. Nobody men.
People, but you know, people say all these stories. I thought I was gonna die that day. The Myean River, those boys coming to attack. I was wearing things I was not supposed to be wearing. I'm driving that kind of car. I took off my shirt. I said, "Today, Pa, you come and kill me. We all would die today." But these guys were very, very nice. We went to one of the nearby villages. I couldn't speak Bassa, but my boy was trying to hang out, and we did some things we're not supposed to do just to be with the people. My boy started smoking that very day. I was surprised because we wanted to make sure that those guys understood. One of them, they were even encouraging me to smoke. The kind of thing those guys were smoking. I was afraid. They said, "Where you come from?" I was speaking my raw Liberian. I said, "My man, we ready or we coming from that kind of place." I could not speak.
You're the continuous speaking Atlanta Street.
So sometimes that the people sometimes going to the village it's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a good thing. You gotta go and be there. But to your point, the people who are some of the people who live in the village that are in Mo River now, they are even afraid to return to the village. They come to Mo River, they make small money. They don't want to go and pick their friends up. They're there. But that's the life that of Peabody. People now, the 10th, 20% of us who God has blessed us, people go to Liberia and they're living. You see, Pewee got people using Scala. Why are you using a ship? Pewee uses Scala. I'm sure Pewee got is in his fence right now. He got his car, he got his driver. And you know, if I got to Liberia, I'm gonna do the same thing. People are even having guns these days. I encourage my parents, you gotta take it's the environment. And I don't care how well we protect ourselves. I don't care how fortunate Liberians, especially those who have been fortunate, whether you work in the government or you've been abroad, you've made small money, you have been reinvested. I don't care how we protect ourselves. If we fail to create an environment where the other folks, the Zoka boys and these guys, can make a living, we will continue to buy guns, we'll continue to invest in security, and because we will always be a target. Because when people around us cannot live, they don't have to live like us. You will never have equal society. There are multi-million people who are millionaires in this country. There's certain places you can't go and look for home because your budget don't fit.
Yeah.
But at least you can go and get a $500,000 house. You can get a $600,000 house. Right now in Liberia, we don't have that environment where people can go and get a $20,000 house. They can pay for that. That house belongs to them.
Yeah.
If we don't create that environment, we will suffer.
You can go get a wagon here, 80,000. If you get wed, you saying, I mean, that's a system, man.
Yeah, we will suffer. We'll continue to suffer because we become targets. We become targets when it's just 15% of us, even the 5% of us who don't work in government. You will still drive nice car. You will still live in a nice house. You will still have driver. You will still have security. But guess what? When those boys see you out there, they will think you're a government official too.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. Just yesterday, I parked somewhere to just people. I think people went to beginning in London, right? Where was that?
Yeah.
So imagine they see you, and especially someone that need before operators. Oh, brother, Pewee, you have to give and you're right. If you live in a community and you are the only person that's shining in the community, the rest of the guys are hungry. You are vulnerable.
Yep.
You are a target. Mm-hmm. Your target will do everything, and that's it. The gap is too wide, Robert. Honestly, the gap is extremely. The gap. Most of those that you see, like people probably the gap too wide. Mm-hmm. So the other side, they see on the beginning. Some of them are the only way they're looking for someone looking for just $200 to get some cheap jobs to take.
Yep. Someone
looking for $200-300 to go buy Kobo in the morning to eat. $200-300. But it's something I think if you were to go to the rate, maybe it's less than $1. Imagine. So we're struggling to have that. And then you see yourself, sometimes you sit down, and sometimes we can thank God, but we took the challenge and prepare ourselves for these things. But the government will have to do more to elevate the style of the life they will in this country. It's something. Johnny, you saw what you asked me on the guy from SKD that told you this and that. It's just obvious thing. Since I came in, since I got in, I have spent just on, not all of major friends I want to do things, I spent more than $700 just on that line.
Yeah, but it always happens at the airport. At the airport, before I leave the airport,
more than $700.
Tipping right at the airport, you will spend maybe $400 bucks.
I committed to pay money.
Yeah,
more than that.
Right at the airport, you will spend maybe $300-400 in less than 2 hours. You will spend maybe $300-400 in less than 3 hours.
No. If I even either went to the airport, I spent more than $1,000. Because the airport, I spent $350 to the airport.
That's normal. That's normal.
$350 when we're at the airport. So it's a problem. So you see some of the other thing. It's an issue. It's a serious problem. And you're gonna stay this way, and people saying, "Oh, this is the budget is celebrated." We cannot celebrate a budget and not gonna impact the life level of the people. It's impossible. We cannot celebrate a budget that will not impact the people's life. On a serious note. Now it's talking about putting some money in the health sector. How much money are we getting, for instance, to the Torgbean hospital as a government? I'm not talking about the current hospital where I was born, the current Lutheran hospital. I'm talking about the Torgbean hospital. That's a government hospital. I'm talking about the J.J. Doxson hospital. I'm talking about the Mater Hospital and in Grange, all those hospitals. What are we talking about giving these hospitals, for instance? The Tapeta Hospital, the referral hospital in Tapeta. How are we doing things? How are we supposed to? And now the debate was just happening about the coup. Was it necessary for the coup to come and other things? I think it was useless for the coup to come because the intent of the coup was to say, hey, there was marginalization, because that was the principal word in news: marginalization and deep corruption. Certain people felt they were marginalized, particularly when the coup came. Say, oh, the country boys felt they were marginalized. The Congo boys were trying to alienate and exclude them for the national governance. But the mistake they made was that Congo guy that they alleged that were trying to marginalize, there was the Congo guy that was trying to give them the country by which they would elevate them. He took each of them from the SI, taking them from the center to school, preparing them for leadership. But the country boys themselves were rushing on poop. They wanted to say marginalization. When Doe took over, he did terrible than the Congo boys.
Mm-hmm.
He started real marginalization. Now, since they were amongst also country boys, we the country people, we came together. The Guillaume say, the crown man won't be came up. The crown say, poof, the conflict came in the country. That war rather started, and now it can hurt some people who say the truth. It can hurt them. But some of us, we are traditional people. When they play for us, we get lost in the night. We will not see us. But the point here is, the Guillaume men believe that after Doe playing, all the complain the Guillaume, all the country bosses, the Congo people, when the Congo people led the country, there was no noise in the country. But if you keep back to the line when the coup took place, the king, okay, they killed the guy, they killed the man, unfortunately, and something that I've denounced. They came when they took over the South 40 among themselves. One part of those said, it's not a plan. Well, and that one part, they are responsible to come back. All the people everything, all supported Pumba to come back. Say, well, not the plan. Pumba was a very intelligent man, very intelligent guy. But when they noticed that he wanted to do something, they wanted to get rid of him, he left. And he came with a coup. He said he didn't plan the coup well. He came with a coup. He catch somebody against the government, he started calling many. He put your many problem. Eh? You got to be a person. For me to come start living my government, then you know you have the person. You don't have the person, the man is missing in action. Missing in action, then you find him, poop, in no time. Then we saw his body, the men kicking him, torturing him. It was unfortunate. But these were country people fighting among themselves. When that happened, and then those who started to attack it, they buying, he killed most of them. Most of them ran away from here. So they formed part of the Special Forces community of Chad. They went to Burkina Faso, they went to Libya, they got trained as special. 250 special forces, 95% of them came from Nima County, to get out against a crown man that they believe were targeting the rest of the Libyans. The war just started between the two tribes. And that's why.
So that means nothing would have happened. That means it wouldn't, to my question, it wouldn't have changed anything had Doe just left and went to London. Or if he just left and went to the US. The war would have still happened.
Absolutely, Raul. The minute happened. Now, the point was the division there was, even the very MPF that came. There was probably a pretty sure he felt he could be somebody too. He said, no, I will deflect. He deflected from the MPFL. He formed the IMPFL. But in no time, Taylor ran he also fired. Taylor ran him up. He had no option. I think they said pretty much in Nigeria. And he pretty much going to stay the next 2 days. The city didn't do. Taylor, I don't know if Taylor going to kill him, but Taylor going to capture him. Because they got this era we laid now. At the time, it was done, but they part of the guns the era we laid. Taylor guys has surrounded him from the south, there's all the swamp all over the place. He was just in our enclave of the bourgeois island. He left, he had no option. When Ekomo told him, he just do, he said, he listened to the whistle sound. He said, well, Monkey dying, he can't listen to the whistle sound. If Doe had listened to the whistle, Doe had left. By the time Doe planned to leave now, it was lit. And pretty much had done that, and the guys the general that was responsible, he said betrayed Doe. The little general were firm, they would have stopped Prince Johnson and his men from coming up. They disarmed Doe and his men. Doe was trying to work 80+ human beings.
On his way to Freeport.
Yeah, to the Freeport. To the main entrance of the Freeport, that when you're coming from the Clareton side, the main entrance of the Freeport, Elizabeth Blunt told nothing. They disarmed Doe men to that main entrance. Doe is said, I would say men can be very, they can probably Loma say men can be very sad when another man.
It was plain, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. They told, I don't know why he agreed. When they told him, when the Prince people said, oh, you're not gonna peace team come for, but all your men should disarm. But there's a thing that don't do strong man they call Tere. Eh? They say he's an elephant hunter in the forest of Grandeur there. Tere told do first they say when Prince Joseph visited them to the barrack, Tere had spoken to the president and said, Mr. President, when they make an opportunity to get all you chaos. The way they may that deal with that king, it will reduce the tension. Those say, oh, they're making you a clean heart. You see your neighbor because Prince had taken about 5 trucks of rice. The man had to put around, the man had all the food. He had taken 5 trucks of rice to the barrack. Those men, the soldiers, they were hungry, no food, no nothing. 5 trucks. Then those say, but the man brought food for all the men, one piece. But he didn't know Prince was using his military skill to entrap him.
Wow.
When that happened, that prayer told him, say, you have to come and let do the thing, will come with peace and everything will suddenly up. So he said, then those say, no, I won't war again, I won't go. That prayer told you can come pass through the port, the Nigerian will carry you.
Wow.
They went to the port, he had the top defense minister. That old man, that old man, the old man, the kid, the old man read that too. Most of the government officials, they disarmed all him, man, right to the gate. Then they asked him and told him, say, okay, the only thing we'll do that I to wrap him. The only thing we'll do for you, we'll let your 4 or 5 bodyguards have pistol with them. Come on, bro. What's somebody do with pistol? Somebody get Beretta caliber with machine guns, then somebody got a pistol. What you do?
Wow.
So when they did that, then they moved in. They went into the building.
But I think the other story I heard is Doe wasn't too worried because the man was traditionally, I heard, they said he was traditionally equipped. He could disappear. He could disappear.
And I was saying that, but you're traditionally equipped, then one gunshot broke his leg. One. Don't think they broke him, one shot. One. Pretty yes, he didn't have it. He said, fire man before that. He said, one time. One gunshot broke his legs.
Wow.
One. Bro, do them.
Jerome, sorry, man. I have
to... that the water can use at the Kehleboe world. Tabeyi get.
Oh, so it came from okay. Yeah, man, but it's a very sad thing. So Sylvester, how's LIB? Johnny, hold on for a second, man. Johnny, where you at? You in Monrovia? You still in the?
No, I'm in Monrovia.
Oh, how LIB though, Sylvester?
My man, come. You see,
LIB is cool, but since we got here, we are not really socialized yet. We're hoping Friday to go to the Parliament and other major areas to see. But LIB is actually cool. You know, it take away. You got a sense of togetherness. You feel you go in here, you see the comedy coming around. It's like one of the cool part of it. So then, my man, I started dating. Gotta do things, gotta do that. But yeah, but you know you can kind of know what you can do, right?
Yeah, I know.
So you come in LIB to kind of have the fun, and I can say that to end of the company, if the way we all can be, we will have a fee and give up. If you come in here, so now maybe if you hustle, you get 5,000. Come here, maybe keep 5 means to keep another 1,500 or 2,000 to them.
Yeah, 5,000 too small, man. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Is that 5,000? Look at another two. But 5,000 is a small money when you want to do anything with it. It's very small.
Yeah. I mean, unless you have like a 1 week or 2 weeks, but even with the 2 weeks there, with
2 weeks on there, then I mean 2 weeks, then you have to be selected where you want to go.
Yeah.
Don't go to where you have most of the company will see you. No. You don't have to do that. You have to engage.
But you see, the thing is, I don't know how Johnny them make it here.
They don't get comrade, right? Robin got to wear comrade like you. Man, you got comrade from man to the rest
Johnny,
of it.
don't do that. What? They kind of comrade, man, please. I was in Ghana. They kind of comrade in our place, and then apart from the comrades, are there just people who just.
Oh, but we had a very wonderful time in Accra.
Oh, you stop there?
Oh, we stopped there.
Yeah, what you always gotta do.
We took United directly from Dallas into Accra.
Yeah. You should next time you should go to Scar Lounge and let me know. I will get a session for you guys out there. Scar Lounge is one of the best places to be, man.
Very wonderful time in Accra. Yeah, Accra, yeah. Want the Buka restaurant.
Yeah, Buka restaurant. Yeah.
That was very good.
But you guys enjoy, man. You guys enjoy. Johnny, when I come, I will see you one day. I will see you soon.
I mean, I hear, man. I mean, I had a nice evening with my guys today at the SKD. We had short time, but I mean, we're not. We're not.
Peabody there?
Peabody, yeah.
But you're
Yeah, I mean, today, when I read it, maybe Friday will be okay.
I'm gonna be one shin towel. He say,
I know that was drinking Torgbean.
I'm thinking of shin towel. Shin towel.
So, why you later? I was thinking. Open the government already?
No, they ain't open the government yet. The House, the Senate has passed the resolution. So they're waiting for the House. They're still off on the negotiation, the healthcare thing. So the government still shut down. Federal employees are not getting paid, including my wife.
I know where to go back to.
Yeah, so if you don't have money, if you don't have some kind of savings, but it's bad for people like TSA. I mean, the airports, flights are getting canceled. My dad is going to Liberia tomorrow, and his flight was canceled from Chicago. So he had to change cities from Atlanta to Washington, Dulles International Airport to Brussels. So they're changing international flights.
Well, tell me I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, bro. I think I'm going to catch the bed too.
Huh?
I think I'm going to catch the bed too. It's kind of late.
All right, guys. But it's too early, man. What time is it? Like, it's not even 12 o'clock yet.
No, it's after 12. 18 past 12.
18.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're too better than me. I don't be home. I don't be home when I ain't like, bro, this early. You're too better than me, man. I don't be home.
Everybody tired. So I got you in the bed. Everybody tired.
And there's always something going on, Dad. I don't be home this early, man. I'll be outside.
I'm very tired. I don't want to home.
All right, but you guys enjoy yourself, man.
No. Friday, we're going ball Friday.
Okay. Just get a nice little session and have fun, man. I wish I was there, man. I wish I was just Sylvester. I would be, be smoking some cigar and some, All right, guys, but you guys enjoy yourselves.
Okay, man. Good night, guys.
Right. Take care. Thank you, guys, for putting the show down, man.
All right.
So, Myean, take over if you dare. Myean, take over. If not, I'm going to shut it down. Myean, I'm probably asleep.
But did you hear the press conference of Seleke Kromah, the IG? He did say that this is a highly political case, did he not? So you don't take the partisans' word for it, you take the IG's word for it.
We elect on 85 irresponsible men what happened to our country. We elect on 85 irresponsible men to govern this country, not to be very irresponsible.
Please place your left hand on the Bible being held by your wife, and you will kindly raise your right hand, sir, and repeat after me. All standing, please. I, Joseph Newman Boyka Sr.,
No secret now that your friend and former boss will be a candidate in 2029. With all of that you experience, all of that you know, and everything that you see unfolding in the country now, Will you support him? Will you be part of the process? Will you give him the support? Do you think he can be a better president?
So why you want to bring political Ben in it or not?
Oh, but political you're political man, before you go out, very active.
I plead the fifth again.
Okay.
When 2029 come and pass, then you finally leave. Mission is completed. Now, what the rules of engagement? When the war ended, the guy said, the captain, the commander said, mission complete. There wounded out first. All men on board.
So, this riot situation when it comes to country, because many times you notice that
if Charles Taylor is the problem, he will be out of here in the twinkle of an eye. And I say, let well-meaning Liberians come home. If we respect this constitution, a government formed in Accra is a violation of Article 1 of the Constitution. Let them come home. Let that government be formed in Monrovia.
On the broadcast administration, we want to give the government of Liberia an ultimatum of 72 hours to provide a living ballot of the chairman of the Student Unification Party, or else there will be a catastrophic pneumonia in the Republic of Liberia. To arrest the chairman of the Student Unification Party, only because the government feel intimidated about the Vanguard Party advocacies.
The government got capital road, small, that road, B road, all kinds of place. I think the reason Joseph Baga will not do much because the old man, the papa is suffering. The papa loves the country, but he can't make it. The criminal there around him, they sophisticated than him. They are sophisticated criminals, so they can't make it.